Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, 6:02 in the Rose City. Time for Dirt and Sprague on Portland Sports Leader 1080 The Fan. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody.
What is happening?
Week's just flying right by.
Flying on by, buddy. Flying on by.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Glad to see you're here.
I'm here. I'm alive. I'm still breathing. Still standing. Still standing.
Little extra workout yesterday.
I don't know if I'm betraying any trusts here, but I'm going to do this anyway.
Sure, go ahead. Fire away.
Give you a peek behind the curtain. So we have a group chat for the show, to no shocking development. And yesterday, we were efforting to figure out our Florida situation.
Going to Florida, Final Four.
So
Catch
about
the fever.
1:10 p.m., I'm doing taxes. I'm doing other stuff. I go, you know what? Swag's done a good job. I'm gonna pass this off to Swag.
You got this, Swag. You go ahead and find this guy. Go get us a Gator.
1:09 p.m. Swag, can you reach out for a Florida guest? Swag, 1:09 p.m. response. Okay. 1:10 p.m. Dirt. My butthole is on fire.
Right in the butt?
Weren't even talking about hot dogs.
Nothing. I just figured I'd give you an update.
Let me tell you guys how bad it is.
Figured I'd give you a thought, just give you an update on how my afternoon was going. When you eat 6 pig butts, it's going to be a little painful throughout the course of the afternoon. My favorite was the random comments, including my wife, of like, wait a minute, you ate 6 hot dogs today? Why? And then it was, well,
self-inflicted
Part of the show just came up.
We did a thing the day before. Did you get anything for eating the 6 hot dogs? No.
Did you show her the
my
video?
pride? I got the pride.
Yeah.
If I can eat 6 hot dogs, I got that.
He ate 6 hot dogs.
I got a round of applause.
And he still had people calling him a bitch because they were like, 6 is nothing. And I'm like, damn,
look,
dude.
Hold on. Can I defend my fatness here for a moment? There were people questioning my fatness in the comments yesterday of the tweets that went out. And look, valid, okay? If for the update, I didn't eat anything until, I think I tried a snack, like a chip at like 4 o'clock. That was the first time
That was the first time you ate?
Let's test
deep.
the waters.
Okay.
Let's see how this is going to go down. And then, of course, it was taco night last night. So then you're just rumbling in the tumble again.
Homemade tacos, or do you get
homemade tacos? Homemade. I mean, they were fine. It went down okay. We're doing all right. We're here today. But I saw these comments yesterday questioning, well, 6 glizzies, I could choke those down much quicker than 3 hours. That's not even that impressive, right? Mm-hmm. Can I at least defend myself a little bit here that I started at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. There was no build up. There's no like, hey, I'm going to eat 6 hot dogs later when I go to a ball game at noon, so I'm not going to eat much for breakfast. Let me burn some calories, get my heart rate going, and then I'm going to be hungry. Like, then it's a little bit easier later in the day to eat 6 hot dogs. I get cold. I've been up for like an hour and 20 minutes eating 6 hot dogs starting at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I like that you're basically saying you need a warm-up here.
I do. I need like a little bit of a runway before I just launch into hot dog eating.
It is pretty funny.
If I'm at a tailgate and I'm like chugging beers, maybe I got a gummy and we're feeling good, it's the morning, they probably go down a little bit quicker. I'm sitting here doing a radio show.
It is funny because my wife also was like, wait, he's going to eat 6 hot dogs tomorrow. I said, yeah. He says he can.
He's going to try.
He's going to attempt to eat 6 hot dogs.
She basically said the same thing. Why is he doing this? And I'm like, he kind of did this himself. I think he wanted to eat 6 hot dogs because I don't have an answer for you.
Look, content is king, right? And I ate 6 hot dogs on the show yesterday.
I think we need to send that video to the the marketing kids at Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I think we should. Look what we can do. Send me to a Coastal Carolina Chanticleer game.
That would actually be hilarious.
I'll eat you out of hot dogs.
Actually reached out and said, you know what? We appreciate you guys talking about us in Portland, Oregon, USA.
Fly this guy down or send him a T-shirt at least.
See, you can do that in Coastal Carolina week 4.
Bring you on down. Yeah,
Whenever Oregon's on a bye,
they
fly Dirt out to Coastal Carolina.
That'd be delightful if it's early in the season, too, especially.
I will hunt down and send the audio from the show before and then the video package. Jake did a great job, too.
He did. I don't know if we posted that anywhere because he made a whole cut
I'll check with him.
It's 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes. So it was all throughout the entire show, from the start of the show and the first bite down to the very end when you were just waiting for that close music to hit.
It finished. I got
Dude.
there. I got there.
The bye week would actually be at a perfect time to go to Coastal Carolina.
Oh, when's the bye week?
They play Penn State September 27th.
Yes, they do.
Then they don't play Indiana until October 11th.
So it's that first week of October.
It's
All right, let me
first
go
week of
find
October.
That's a
Coastal's.
delightful
Now,
weekend to
let's
head
look
on
at
down to
their
Myrtle
schedule.
Beach.
Coastal Carolina having
Yeah.
a bye that week would be
Find the
hilarious.
Chanticleer schedule.
Fun Belt schedule, Coastal Carolina.
Get me to Myrtle Beach. Hashtag get dirt to Myrtle Beach. Wearing my teal.
Crap. They're at Old Dominion.
Oh, come on.
That's brutal.
I'm not going to Old Dominion. That defeats the
Is
whole
there a
purpose.
second-
Is
Is
there
it-
a home game with the Ducks that you don't care about in the non-conference that you could just
Yes.
be like, I'm gone this
yes.
weekend?
Yes, there is. Yes.
What are they
There-
doing September
Insert
13th?
whatever game you want to. Do they have a good? I mean, Oklahoma State's in town this year, right? If I remember correctly.
You guys are playing the Pokes?
I think so.
Oh,
Aren't they coming to Eugene this year?
I don't know your. I just looked at your schedule and I don't know your.
Well, I know they have the Beavs at home this year.
You have East Carolina at Coastal Carolina September 13th. You guys
Yes.
have Northwestern at Northwestern.
They
Who cares
got
about that game?
What about August 30th? Do they got a home game? Because
No,
Oregon
they're
opens
at
with
Virginia.
Oh, come on. Oregon opens with Montana State.
I hate to be a.
First game of the year, but
You got Oklahoma State September 6th. I hate to say this because you're going to disagree. Playing Northwestern at Northwestern is not exciting.
No, it's not.
Unless
in the
that
least.
game gets moved to Wrigley Field. There's
That's
a
still-
possibility it could get moved to Wrigley.
But I'm not
Well,
going. So it's one thing if I'm going to
true.
Wrigley Field, then it's entertaining.
Probably
If
should
not,
go if it's at Wrigley
I mean, that'd be
Field.
pretty cool to go to a football game at Wrigley Field.
Coastal Carolina does have a Thursday night game October 30th against Marshall.
Let's take the show on
See,
the
that's.
road.
I think that's when the weather starts to get kind of crappy.
Yeah, and then that's Halloween
No.
essentially
I
too.
mean-
Yeah.
I'm not missing Halloween with the little guy.
It'll be a little cooler, but
Where's
it's
it at?
nice.
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah,
It's in Myrtle Beach,
The
basically.
town is what is it? Conway. It's like 10 miles, 15 miles inland from Myrtle Beach.
which is Myrtle Beach is on the coast.
yeah.
So you're right off the coast, a couple minutes away from it.
Late October, Myrtle Beach typically experiences pleasant, mild weather with an
Yeah.
average of the 70s.
Yeah, 10 miles.
I was there in late November and it was cool, but it was nice.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you might still
Maybe
be.
you
It
do
might
need to
be
go late
60.
October.
You might need a jacket there once the sun goes down. It gets late in the game, but it should be pleasant.
I mean, a little offensive probably this early in the morning. I could also miss the Civil War. That's probably not going to be a very good game, for being honest here.
I wouldn't want to see the upset either if I were you.
Malik Murphy coming to town.
That's right.
I'd be scared.
Yeah, I was a little scared last year and how that
Coach
turned
is a
out.
defensive coach,
Yeah.
too. The defense can be better.
Oh, that's right. This is the year. This is the year.
We're finally going to win our conference
This is
again.
our year.
We might be back-to-back conference
I
champions.
might,
very well
I
could
might
be
have
back to
dual
back.
mugs.
I think if you win it again, you got to go back to back Pac-2 champions. You got to bring the
Dude,
shirts
you
out.
beat a team twice in one season and win the crown, you deserve a T-shirt.
Then it's a definitive conference
P2B2.
championship.
Get that P2B2.
The P2B2. The question would be, what if you split with the Cougs this year?
well, we win the tiebreaker.
You win the tiebreaker?
Yeah.
Just based on previous championships?
It goes alphabetical order.
Alphabetical? Oh, okay.
Oh,
well,
comes to
No, it's like
Makes
the
total
Ryder
sense.
Cup. If you have the
Point
Ryder
total?
Cup, you have to. if it's a draw,
you
you
maintain.
retain the cup.
That's a good analogy right there.
So we're not going point differentials here. We're going.
No.
Okay.
You just points on the field on the day.
P2B2.
You
That's
got to go
right.
beat us twice. You got to get twice if you want to bring that
You
Pac-12
wanna see
championship
orange and black T-shirts. P2B2.
back to Pullman, Washington.
All of this is so stupid.
It is.
It's really stupid.
Playing the Cougs twice in a season because their
Almost,
schedule
almost
sucks.
as stupid as your Braves last night.
Wow. Wait. Hold on. Give me a second here.
Swinging a foul.
I also want to read this text in
Shohei Ohtani on his
Oh, God.
bobblehead
He's
night.
doing it again.
First pitch swinging, high drive, left center field, at the wall. Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing.
That's actually a really good call. That's a really good
He's
call.
headed
Steven
home,
Nelson.
and once again, the Dodgers walk off winners.
Dude, I am trending into the territory of, and I'm already this way with a lot of sports that Swag watches. Like, he'll try and get me in, like, hey, why don't you watch tennis? It's like, I just don't care. I don't care.
I
You like
understand
tennis,
that.
that's fine. I don't care. Don't talk to me about tennis. I'm encroaching on that territory with his Dodger conversations. He wants to come in every morning and talk about the Dodgers. I don't care. I don't care. They're going to win every game. It's stupid. The whole sport's dumb. It's ruined. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm watching my team. My team's the only team I'm watching. So cram it in your cram hole, LaFleur.
I want to be very fair and honest here. Is my name's on the show, and I have no control, and now I'm being bullied on my own show.
You are being bullied on your own show. Raise your hand if your team's won a baseball game. I think they're off today, too, so this will carry into tomorrow as well. We can do that again on the show tomorrow. So, season started like 2 weeks ago, man.
Let's go Strips, man.
It's like halfway through April at this point. It's almost May.
Shut up.
You guys going to win a game?
No, it doesn't feel like it.
That one hurt me, too, last night because I actually bet on the Braves just thinking, what are the odds that they start? Oh, they got to win one eventually.
Yeah,
they're
playing
up
the Dodgers.
5-zip,
get
like
one.
4 innings in.
5-0. I should have cashed that bet into the 5th inning.
I think the worst part was that my team got off to a good start, and he's like, "Oh, we're committing errors.
We're giving it to you.
Oh, we give you 3 errors.
We're giving it to you.
It was 2 official errors by that point, by the way.
We got
not
7
3.
illegal contracts
Yeah.
on our roster, but we're giving this
Official
one to
scorer
you.
must like Andy Pajes because he dropped that in center field.
It was funny because I'm watching this game, right, because it starts a little earlier, and I had no basketball yesterday, so I'm watching this game, and I had the Braves broadcast on, and they're just out loud talking about the Shohei contract. He makes $2 million, and then in 10 years, he'll make $46 million a year. Yeah. How? How do you get the best human being to ever play the sport
It's illegal. It should be illegal.
to agree to that? I don't know.
They're ruining baseball, and I hope he's happy about that.
But I do want to be fair here, despite how low blow that was, to just in the middle of our hot dog segment, too. I mean, talk about kicking me in the hot dog.
Yeah, we're talking hot dogs here. We're having a delightful conversation, and then we get that.
At 8:11 p.m.,
I don't eat the wiener.
I text Swag, I hate your effing team. At 8:12, Swag responded, just settling in for the Shohei walk-off.
Yeah.
At 8:23, Shohei Ohtani walked off with a home run, and I said, dude, F you forever. And then he tried to say, go Winterhawks.
Go Winterhawks.
As if I wanted anything to do with that conversation at that point.
Yeah, when this whole thing was ending and I knew how it was going to end, I muted that text conversation. I knew how it was going to end. I wanted nothing to do with that. I want nothing to do with that stupid Randy Newman song.
Well, I'm glad that you're okay.
I'm doing all right. I'm here.
Yes.
I legitimately was concerned that like something was going to happen.
Have you flushed the system?
Mostly.
Okay.
Mostly. I think there's a few leftovers today we'll get to, but you
that
know,
car could not have smelled good when he got home yesterday.
the challenge was how long was I going to wait around until leaving, and like, is something going to happen if I'm on the way home?
Yes.
So I kind of hung around for a little bit just to make sure that we got the
Now,
first load out, and then I headed
in
home.
the still newerish house, is there like a separate bathroom somewhere off the main living area?
Yeah.
That you can...
Yeah. There's a throne. There's a throne that you can
Okay.
go in. We were okay. We found a toilet. We were all right. Me and Teddy Ballgame were dropping deuces left and right yesterday.
I actually feel sorry for a toilet.
Yeah.
Look at that. I came in on a Thursday feeling sorry for a toilet. Could not have been great. Coming back as a toilet in the Buddhist world.
That's a tough way to come back.
Yeah.
You did some bad
There's
stuff
some
to come
karma.
back.
There's
no,
some
no,
karma
no,
issues.
No!
You don't even get to scream. Your mouth's open the whole time.
You're gonna eat another one in there, Bob.
Not good.
Here you go.
Not good at
Another
all.
delivery.
Well, we got a lot to get to today. It is a busy show. I don't know what you guys did last Thursday. I wasn't on the show. Did you magic hat?
No, we did not
magic
magic
hat.
hat.
You can't magic hat without you. You're the magic hat man.
You are the
I'm
magic
trying to make
hat
it a show
man.
staple. You can magic hat when I'm
You're
gone.
the magic hat man.
The magic hat's kind of fun.
It is a delightful
You don't
segment.
know what's coming out of the magic hat.
I'm very excited about it today.
So we'll get to the magic hat coming up at 6:30. We'll go to Florida today for the daily ticker at 7:30 and get a Florida Gators preview. I think Florida's my bet. 3-1 value. Duke looks like the best team, but I will never bet Duke as long as I breathe oxygen. So I'm going to bet Florida.
Okay.
I think they're going to beat Auburn, and I think they're going to play Duke in the national championship game. So we'll get the lowdown on the Florida Gators. It is a loaded show. It is good to be with you, Durden Sprague. Let's get it going next on The Fan.
Fan.
Dirt, how many? I've gone through the schedule, and I looked at the standings yesterday. Magic hat coming up here at the bottom of the hour. How many NFL teams, to your memory, do you remember heading into Wild Card Weekend? The playoffs are about to start. How many teams do you recall in your mind you said, yeah, there's a path?
They could win a championship.
Now, I know we did a lot on the Chiefs are going to win this. This is pointless.
Sure.
There's a lot of that audio that exists on this show.
I also bet against him in the AFC title game, so I didn't get there until I lost that bet in the AFC title game.
But we talked about it throughout the season of like this. Remember the
feels
Bronco game?
Inevitable.
The Bronco field goal that got blocked somehow from
Yeah.
20-some yards. You're like, even they win that game. But how many teams did you say, there's a path. I can see it.
I think for me, looking back, there was probably 3 in the AFC. Buffalo, I could see it. Baltimore, I could have seen it. And the Chiefs, obviously, I could have seen it. In the NFC, Detroit, I could see it, although their defense was a little leaky late in the year.
Yeah, but Detroit was 15.
But they were the number 1 seed. Philly, I could see it. I can't remember what the maybe I was there on Minnesota. I might have been there on Minnesota with the regular season that they had.
14-3.
Although that last regular season game was a little concerning.
Yep.
I think that was probably in the NFL.
You didn't think the Commanders were a possible?
I did not. I picked the Commanders to lose their first playoff game because they had a rookie quarterback. So going in, at least they proved me wrong and got all the way to the NFC title game.
And no Rams.
I was not quite there. The Rams were the team that I didn't want to play in the playoffs because there's Matthew Stafford, but I think there's a difference between being like, that's a feisty team that I don't want to face in wild card round, as opposed to, can you go win 4 games in a row being that feisty team?
Okay, so you had 6 teams
I'll say
total.
6. I'll say about 6 teams going into the NFL playoffs.
Well, the reason I asked you that question and we revisit our thought from that point is I'm watching this NBA game last night, Cavs-Knicks, and, it's like, there's no real stakes in this game.
No.
Cleveland is firmly the 1 seed. That's basically a done deal.
I think Knicks are pretty firmly the 3 seed.
Yeah, the Knicks are pretty firmly in 3. But they played. Everybody played.
Everybody played.
Brunson can't play because he's got an injury, but everybody played.
Yeah, that was the only regular.
That's a pretty big one.
in there.
That's a pretty big one for the Knicks.
It's a massive one, and I'm not trying to undersell it, but New York was up 15 in this game. And they ended up losing. They got absolutely steamrolled in the second half. And I just wondered, were you watching that at all? And does that team make you reconsider their chances of winning a championship? The Cleveland Cavaliers, like for all the Oklahoma City Thunder talk that we had, yesterday, what did the Thunder have? They had 63. They won yesterday. They beat Detroit, who did not have Cade Cunningham. They're 64-12.
Yes.
The Cavaliers are 61-15.
61-15.
They are 5 wins away, 5, from tying the all-time most wins they've ever had in a regular season. And that was a LeBron James team.
Yeah, was that the one that lost to Orlando in the conference finals?
I believe it was, 08-09.
That sounds about right.
And so they're 5 wins away. I don't know if they'll end up tying the record or beating the record.
Yeah.
But they're right there within striking distance of that record. Their point differential is 10.2. It's the second highest in the NBA.
Yeah.
And it feels like no chance.
It's the NBA, man. This is the battle that the league has to go through every year with their upstart teams, Oklahoma City and Cleveland. I would say the disrespect that Cleveland is getting is significantly greater than Oklahoma City. We saw Oklahoma City, were they the 1 seed last year in the West, 2 seed? Where were they?
They were the 1 seed because
they
lost to Dallas.
And lost in the second round. They were the 1 seed last year. So this didn't come out like Oklahoma City's having a better year than they did last year, but they were dominant last year in the regular season.
Yeah, what were the Cavs, 4 or 5 last year?
They were somewhere in the middle of the pack. I remember their first round series, and it was entertaining, but they were a playoff team.
They were 48-34. They were the 4 seed. They played the 5-seeded Magic in the first round. That went 7 games. And yes, the Thunder technically ended up tied with the Nuggets, but they won the tiebreaker.
So they got the 1 seed and lost the second round. So they've done this for a year plus now. We saw them do it last year. This is more come out of nowhere for Cleveland. And I will just continue to point to, it's one thing to have the discussion and debate about, do you buy these teams? I find the Vegas aspect of this fascinating. They are 61-15. They are the clear-cut number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They own multiple, 13-game winning streaks this year?
They had one 4-game losing streak about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and everybody panicked.
You can get plus money on the Cleveland Cavaliers at 61-15 to win the Eastern Conference. Plus money.
They're 33-5 at home.
They are going to have home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs, and you can get plus money on them to win the Eastern Conference. So it's one thing to debate it, like, hey, Oklahoma City, can they do it? Can they get over the hump? That exists, but they are the overwhelming favorite to win the Western Conference this year in Vegas. It's minus money on OKC. It's plus money on Cleveland.
Yeah, but as much as you might be saying they're being more disrespected than OKC, I think most sports fans, whether they're casual NBA fans or diehard NBA fans, would more than willing bet you that Cleveland's getting to the conference final.
Yes.
I don't think people trust the Knicks.
How much of that, though, and this is, again, it's going to sound offensive to Cleveland Cavaliers fans that listen to the show, how much of that has to do with how bad the Eastern Conference sucks?
That's kind of my point.
Sucks.
So, are they being disrespected if most people just say, you're going to be in the Final Four of all of this?
I mean, to a certain extent, no, but I think a lot of that doesn't have to do with Cleveland as a juggernaut that nobody's going to be able to beat. It has to do with the rest of the East outside of Boston, nobody takes seriously. Damian Lillard, is he going to play in the playoffs?
He's not back yet.
Where's Brunson going to be? I know he's been rehabbing, trying to get back.
Okay. He might play the last game of the year.
Is he going to be 100%? Is he going to be
we don't know.
40%, 60%? Where's he going to be at?
He's not going to come back at 40%.
Do people trust Indiana come playoff time, or is Indiana making you shaking your boots? Detroit's been a fun season or a fun story this year, but they're not quite there yet. So I think that's
nobody in the play-in is scaring you.
Nobody. I mean, Orlando,
maybe Chicago.
Chicago's 8 games below 500. Miami's won 6 in a row, but they don't have playoff Jimmy.
What's funny is they're 61-15. 61-15.
It's a hell of a record,
and it's like, well, I don't know. It's like, do you know how many teams don't win 61 games in a season or haven't won 61 games in a season?
I mean, you used the analogy yesterday, and I can't remember if it was OKC or Cleveland, but I thought it was perfect. It was the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, that's Houston.
It was Houston. That's right. It was for the Rockets.
I think Cleveland could be the Washington Commanders.
Sure. Maybe they are this year.
There's not a lot of people giving them maybe enough credit, but their season's been remarkable. The one thing I wonder with them, and then we'll get to the Magic Hat, it's not just, and we've talked about this before, the teams that haven't done it, so it's like we doubt them to be able to do it. I also just, is it the star or lack of star?
It's the star thing with Cleveland.
So Donovan's not a big enough star.
It's not necessarily that he's not a big enough star. He's actually been pretty good in the playoffs throughout his career. I think even back to the Utah days.
I think it's more people haven't been paying attention to the growth Evan Mobley has made this season, more of an offensive threat, but there's still question, okay, can he do that for 7 games against the Celtics?
Because within the NBA circles, like just
but
in
him
the league,
and Darius Garland,
they've got the coach. If this was the NFL, he would be the Kevin O'Connell type coach that people would point to and say, well, they got a coach that a lot of teams would want.
Yeah, but is their quarterback Kirk Cousins?
Well, I mean, that's based on how you talk about him, I would say yes. That's kind of what I'm saying, is it feels, I love that we always have to, I have to tie it into NFL. You know what I'm saying? I think
make a football analogy so I can understand this a little bit better, please. Thank you very much.
But if you watch them, you see...
nobody's doubting they're a good team. They're great. They're 61-15. Yeah. There's just we have seen so many of these in the history of the NBA.
I agree with
really
you.
good regular season teams.
And this goes back to something you talked about before.
You don't think they can win a title and we do.
Why is the NBA, why do you have to prove it in the NBA?
It's every sport you have to do that. Every sport.
I don't think so.
It's golf, it's football, it's quarterbacks, it's literally every sport. Other than baseball, because we don't care about winning in baseball largely.
Well,
Ohtani was the best player in baseball. He didn't need to win a playoff game in Anaheim to be claimed the best player in baseball.
But it is true and it's not true at the same time. Like when we got to the Super Bowl, I picked the Chiefs, but I was telling you, I absolutely believe that the Eagles could win that game.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, maybe not in that fashion, but when winning and maybe separating didn't
they were a play away from winning it 2 years ago.
Right.
They were on the doorstep and we saw them in the Super Bowl.
But we also picked Buffalo. Buffalo has never won in our lives.
Sure, but we do this to Lamar Jackson constantly.
Well, he's kind of the exception. We don't do it to Josh Allen, but we do it to Lamar Jackson.
We do it to Justin Herbert constantly. You do it to a lot
but
of
we don't do it to Joe Burrow. It's such a weird...
Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl.
He hasn't won it.
No, I know, but there's a difference.
If you've been to the Super Bowl, if you don't win it,
well, that
people
matters.
say you can't win it.
To me, going on playoff runs and proving it matters. How far did Cleveland go in the playoffs last year?
They got to the second round.
Okay, what happened in the second round?
The Knicks.
You don't even remember.
No.
Remember.
What was last year?
Exactly.
They beat Orlando.
They beat Orlando in a 7-game series.
They would have been the 4 seed,
Paolo
right?
Banchero was a rookie, I believe, or second-year guy.
They would have lost to the Celtics.
Lost to the Celtics. How quickly was that series over?
I don't remember.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that doesn't.
But this is a
that
difference.
prove
So,
a
like,
point?
if the Cleveland Cavaliers went to the NBA Finals last year and then lost, nobody's questioning their ability to win a championship this year.
So if they would,
I don't agree with the Burrow
further?
analogy. 3 rounds further.
Okay,
they
you
lost
don't
in the
agree
second
with
round.
a Burrow analogy. Like you're
They
splitting
lost
the
in
thinnest of
5 to the
hairs.
Celtics.
Yeah, there you go.
And if I remember correctly, they won one of the first 2 games in Boston.
They won
They
game
were up
2
double
in
digits in multiple
Boston.
games.
Game 2, yeah.
And then lost.
Well, we had double-digit leads against the Warriors in 4 straight
Well, I'm
games.
just saying that I think they were shorthanded too, if I'm not mistaken. My point is, whether you agree with the Burrow point or not, it's kind of irrelevant. My point is, we do pick and choose who or what we say can or can't.
Yeah, the only point that I'm bringing up is I think we do. I don't think this is just an NBA thing. I think we do this in all sports. I think with golfers, with NFL quarterbacks, like we do this constantly until we see you prove it and see you actually do it. And especially in a case where I do believe the biggest question about them is not necessarily Donovan Mitchell. It's that this is a league that shows you largely you have to have 2 stars to win a title.
You don't think Evan Mobley's there yet?
I think he's a really good player. Is he a superstar? Is he a first-team All-NBA guy? Is he that
Well,
caliber?
there's
I
only
know.
5 guys.
Is he a second-team All-NBA guy? Is he a third-team All-NBA guy?
I don't know. I don't have a vote.
So this is where I think that's the question about Cleveland. If you want the non-NBA
Is he the
bros
defensive
take
player
on
of the year though?
Probably, yeah, because
Tim or
Wembanyama got
Draymond?
hurt
Draymond somehow has made a late surge,
because of a blood clot. He's going to win Defensive Player of the Year.
fighting for himself. I don't know. I think Mobley has a real opportunity early on, especially in the playoffs, to show people I'm a second banana.
How dare you question NBA Dirt's knowledge on this topic? How dare you? How dare you?
I don't think I questioned. I
think
was
you
just
did. I
talking
think you
about
did.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Wildly disrespectful.
They're very good. Every
They're
time
very
I watch
good.
them, they're really stinking good.
They're a very good basketball team.
Only lost 15 times this
Only
year.
15. They've won 61.
All right, let's get to the Magic Hat. We'll do it next, but first, Swag with the sports update.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, Trailblazers road trip ventures north of the border tonight in Toronto to face the Raptors at 4:30. They'll start today 3 games out of the final play-in spot currently held by the Kings. Raptors have been eliminated from postseason consideration. This one's on KUNP Xfinity Channel 1016. Portland 3.5-point favorites. Elsewhere in the NBA, Rockets became the second team in the Western Conference to clinch a playoff spot as they blew out the Jazz 143-105. Spurs took advantage of a weary Nuggets squad in a 113-106 upset. They're just a game behind the Blazers. To the major leagues, where the Padres and Dodgers remain undefeated on the young season, San Diego took down Cleveland 5-2. Jackson Merrill with a 2-run home run after signing his $135 million contract extension. In L.A., Dodgers spotted the winless Braves, 5 runs, only to come back and finish them off 6-5 on a Shohei Ohtani walk-off home run in the ninth. Seconds after killing off a penalty late in the second overtime of Game 4 of their first-round playoff series, the Winterhawks get the game-winning goal from Diego Buttazzoni at 37:57 of OT. They have a 3-1 lead and can clinch the series Friday at Memorial Coliseum. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Tired of getting dinged by Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
You shut up with your pro Joe Burrow stuff over there. Jeez.
It's going to be really funny if part of me now.
If they lose in round 2.
I'm kind of hoping for it now at this point. Honestly, for OKC and Cleveland, just for the NBA dirt legend to live on.
The Nuggets go to the finals.
Nuggets go to the finals. I did parlay Denver and Boston to play in the finals together. I got a ticket out on that.
Okay.
So I think Boston's a wagon in the East, man. I know that the NBA has shown us.
I've been on it all year. I don't believe anybody will beat them.
Yeah, last 5 years we've seen different NBA champions. I'm not saying they're going to win it all because the West is a juggernaut of a conference, and whoever comes out will be a mighty foe this year. But there's just an aspect of I have a hard time seeing somebody beat them in a 7-game series, man.
I just think that team, when they need to, they can press the right button and they're back. And I give Cleveland a shot. But I've picked Boston all year.
Yeah,
so
the Eastern. I wish the Eastern Conference was tougher. If we don't get Cooper Flagg, I really genuinely hope that he goes to an Eastern Conference team. We don't need another star in the West. We got enough of them over here.
Utah could certainly use something because they're lifeless.
Until they land Cooper Flagg, then guess what? You're not lifeless anymore.
Let's get to the Magic Hat. We do it. I guess I do it every Thursday.
You do
at 6:30 is where I try to aim to do it. It's just basically, if you're new to it, the Magic Hat, we kind of need, I was thinking about this, we should make some production with real cheesy intro music, like old school 80s, 90s cartoon. It's the Magic Hat.
You need a jingle? Somebody's got to make us a jingle.
Or should
come
we go
on down to the
find
Magic Hat.
some sort of cheesy Vegas magician music?
Now you see me. Now you don't.
All right. The Magic Hat is basically a bunch of topics, and we have no idea where the sports gods want us to go.
Okay.
Until Swag pulls it out of his Magic Hat.
Yeah.
So where are we
got the Hops
starting?
hat today. Hops season starts tomorrow.
That's not a Magic Hat topic.
Sorry. Santa's favorite little elves.
Oh, Santa's favorite little elves. I read about this yesterday, but Dirt alerted it to me before I left. Did you guys see the Kansas City Chiefs are currently asking the NFL to make them the Detroit Lions of Christmas Day?
Yeah.
Oh, they want to play Christmas Day.
They want to be the Lions and Cowboys of Christmas Day.
At home? Is that the plan?
I'm assuming it's at home. The Cowboys get a home game every Thanksgiving. The Lions get a home game every Thanksgiving. Those are staples and have been. Christmas is now becoming a NFL holiday. It'll be fascinating to see what does happen because a listener pointed it out that they did it with the leap year a couple of years ago. They missed a Tuesday. What do you do on a Tuesday Christmas year?
They're going to play.
That's just an interesting scheduling breakdown of you didn't play Tuesday, then you play Sunday the next week.
They played Tuesday during COVID season. You remember Tuesday game?
They did. Buffalo played a home game on a Tuesday.
It was the Titans-Bills game.
I do remember watching that.
They either get their bye week are there any bye week? No, they're done with byes.
At that
by
point,
then.
there's only a month left in the season.
Either
or not even a month.
They probably play the following Monday.
Have to make them play on Monday.
You would have to.
But then there's 3 games though on Christmas Day, so you're gonna do all 3. You can't have all 6 teams play on a Monday night, unless you have a triple header on them next Monday night. That was the only thing I was curious of what do they do on a Tuesday.
Well, we don't know if they're new triple headers every year on Christmas
Very true.
Day.
Last year they only had 2, if I remember correctly, and this year
2.
they're now going to 3. And obviously, when it's on a Sunday, you'll get that. But
3 probably that falls because you have to have one for your regular Thursday night. Who's ever doing? Is Amazon still doing the Thursday night?
Amazon is still Thursday night games.
But Netflix is doing the other 2 Christmas games.
Yes, Netflix is going to do 2, and then this year you're going to get the Amazon.
So Amazon, that's their
night.
regular Thursday night game. So.
I got no issue with this. I genuinely don't. I hate the Kansas City Chiefs with a passion. It was very fun to watch them go down 34-0 in the Super Bowl, so I quite enjoyed that. But I mean, they deserve it. They're going to have the face of the NFL for at least another decade. They're one of the more recognizable logos in the league. They have a great home field advantage. I got no issue with this.
The question becomes, can it get built in? Because, if and when Reed and Mahomes and all of them are gone in a decade or 15 years.
Doesn't matter. The Lions have been terrible for 100 years.
The Lions were crappy forever.
If you go that long, it stays.
Yeah, is it going is the NFL going to be committed to it if they go and become the really crap?
Yeah, I mean, if you committed to the Lions, why wouldn't you commit to the Chiefs? The Lions have done nothing in their franchise's history until the last 5 years, 3 years.
It's easier to, once you establish something as
that's what I'm saying. For 10 to 15 years is a hell of a run because Mahomes isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And
it's
Reed
a blue blood organization.
Yes.
It's an original organization in the NFL.
No, it was an AFL team.
Okay.
Hey, do you know the Hops start tomorrow?
It was not an original NFL team.
He was in college when they made the move from the AFL
My
to the
bad.
NFL.
I forgot you were at the games. You were 24 years
Took
old.
his horse and
okay?
buggy out there. They used to play at Old Trafford.
None of us remember seeing the Chiefs at all against those Packers.
I took the train.
Of course you would, Lako. But my point
Nice
is,
sleeper car.
Stay out of my lake.
it's a legendary NFL franchise. It's recognizable by the biggest of brands in sports now. If Mahomes is there another decade, you've established it. And also they wear red, so like wear green
fits.
pants on the day.
Yeah.
And really put me in the mood.
I also don't even feel like we need to put that caveat on it. The Cowboys have done nothing for 30 years, and they get to play every Thanksgiving. The Lions are one of the worst organizations in professional sports, but we watch them on Thanksgiving every year. Why does it matter if they're still good?
I would be totally cool with this, and I actually love that they are like, hey, we
Be aggressive.
want this.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think if a team wants it like the Detroit Lions have it, go do it. So maybe they'll be Santa's favorite little elves. What's the next magic hat?
All right. What else we got in here?
Who's on the bump tomorrow?
I don't know. I just got the roster, so I got to go figure it out. Do you got the fever?
Oh, do you have the fever?
Do you got the fever?
I had a hot dog fever yesterday.
You had the meat sweats.
I did, yeah.
I've been reading some NFL draft stuff. I saw an article yesterday, and it was like, are the Cleveland Browns tanking for Arch Manning? Teams don't tank. It's the NFL. I wish some of them would because some of these
might
prospects
stink.
Yeah.
But you don't tank.
3 weeks from today, by the way.
Have you caught – is this draft catching you? Is this draft getting you to listen and read stuff every day, or are you checking in and out because this draft isn't as exciting to you?
It's not even necessarily about this draft. I just think that's psychotic behavior to do it now. I'm not there yet. I'm not that big of a
3 weeks out from the draft?
That's way too early, dude. I got the Final Four on Saturday. Next week is the Masters. That's where my headspace is at. Once we get through the Masters, I'm all in. This draft is very intriguing to me. We know Cam Ward will go number one. The rest of it seems like a question mark after that. Who trades up? Who trades down? Where do quarterbacks go? Like, it's a very interesting draft. There's a lot of ducks. There's a lot of guys that I'm curious to see where they end up going and playing.
Is it? Okay, so this is kind of why I asked if you have the fever.
Yeah.
You clearly don't yet.
I just think I don't need to read up. There's so many things are going to change. What am I reading up about on the draft right now?
It's just the tea leaves of like, the scout says this, like.
Because they want this guy to fall or this guy to rise
Sure.
or they want this guy to be available. It's all fake intel anyways.
But you say like it's an interesting draft. Is it? It kind of feels like one of those drafts where it's like maybe there's some multiple quarterbacks. There's one multi-positional guy, and then it's just like, hey, this offensive lineman's arm length isn't long enough.
Will Campbell's got long arms.
Hey, Shamar Smith is one of the greatest edge rushers just by every measurement. He didn't get any sacks, though. And it's just
Got
like
small hands. I'm worried
got
about a
tiny
small
hands.
hands.
yeah, tiny hands guy.
How long are those fingers?
It's is it?
I mean, we have no clue.
Is
if
it
it'll
an
end up-
interesting draft? Is
I do
kind of
think
where
it's
I'm
interesting.
asking if people have the fever.
I think it's interesting because we don't generally know what's going to happen after the
Shamar
first overall
Stewart,
pick.
by the way, not Smith. That's my bad. But yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen after the first pick, and that's what makes it interesting to me. There's a lot of years where you go in and you think, all right, I know 1 through 5, basically, and I don't need to turn the draft on until 45 minutes into it.
But was last year not just at this point last year, that draft, there was like 8 quarterbacks. We were like, holy crap, how many are going to go? Where's Bo going to be? Is Penix going to fall or rise? Is Jaden definitely the number 2 pick? Because we all knew at this point Caleb was number 1.
Yeah.
Is Drake May or J.J. McCarthy going to go first? Last year's, and maybe it's because it's that specific position, when it's loaded like that,
the quarterback class makes it more
it
interesting.
makes it a little sexier. And I'm not saying this year's isn't deserving.
Yeah.
But are people getting into it the way that last year it felt like at this point it was a pretty big topic?
Yeah, I think if you're following it day in and day out right now, you're a psycho. You got problems. And you
Andrew Nemec, line 1.
You should probably go see a therapist. Call your therapist, Nemec. You got issues,
He
man.
texts me sometimes. We talk.
He's into the draft. He's
a big draft
This
guy,
is what I chuckle about. The combine is gone. It's over with. We got to break down our 40 times and our spandex workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Have we had all of our, I'm assuming we've had all of our pro days at this point. We've said all of our guys throwing on shorts, which, oh my God, so remarkable. All of it's done. What's going to change in the next 3 weeks?
I just like to hear the buzz.
Like Final Fours this weekend, Masters, then I'll be in draft mode.
All
It's
right.
3 weeks from today is when the NFL draft
Browns
begins.
going Kirk Cousins, or are they going to draft a quarterback? I have no clue.
They're going to tank next year.
Yeah, for Arch Manning.
That's what they're going to do.
More Magic Hat next on The Fan. All right, we got a lot to get to in the second hour. Buddy Martin.
We got a buddy on the show
We
today.
got a buddy.
What's up, buddy?
GatorBaitMedia.com.
Gator
Gator
Think he'll say this?
I don't eat the wiener.
You can ask him about wieners. What's his thoughts on wieners?
I don't hate the wiener.
Buddy, what's your philosophy on eating the wiener? You into it? Ketchup, mustard? What goes on it?
Relish.
Relish? You a relish guy, buddy?
You haven't watched Righteous Gemstones? When you dive in, there's a lot of that.
I don't eat the wiener.
There's a uncomfortable amount.
Yeah, it's on my list.
I want to get to in the second hour of the program this random new wave of building down current era athlete by saying this about them. I want to start at the second hour because I saw something yesterday that I thought was really funny. But we'll continue on with the old magic hat.
All right, we'll see if we can do some.
We
speed
got
round.
this.
Speed round magic hat?
3 big dongs.
Oh, the 3 big dongs. Oh my God! Speaking of that, huh?
I don't eat the wiener.
So yesterday it was funny. Dirt and I were talking about today's show yesterday after our show.
Aha.
He's processing the hot dogs,
Right.
and we both kind of just in the moment we're like, I'll see what's out there.
Yeah, check it out. See
Some
what's going
days,
on.
even though the Final Four is going to be this weekend, and
Right.
there's build-up of the Masters, and there's NFL draft, and the NBA's like you have days where you're like, what's the most obvious thing to talk about tomorrow? And by 9, 10 a.m., it's like, well, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And I said, we need something in baseball to happen. We need a guy to hit like 3 home runs in a game. And Dirk goes, yeah, we maybe do some baseball stuff. And I remember thinking about, right after I said that, I left and I'm in my car, and I remember thinking how big it felt to me as a child or a young teenager watching Late Night Sports Center and seeing the highlight package of a guy that hit 3 dongs in a game.
Yes.
3 dongs is a big deal.
It was a big deal,
That
was
is
it
a
not?
big
It
deal.
is.
And yesterday, Ivan Herrera, who I didn't know who he was, plays for the Cardinals,
Yes.
coincidentally hits 3 dongs
With
in a game.
nobody in the stands. Where's the
Nobody's there.
Nobody's there.
Nobody's
Was
there.
that a makeup game? Did they move the time because of weather?
I don't know.
What happened to Cardinal Nation?
Cardinal
out there?
Nation has disappeared.
Last time I spoke on the Cardinal fans, we had somebody correct us about a weather thing, so I'm not going to comment on this. I don't know
no,
why
they're not
were
that
there.
good of fans. Get the hell out of here. Sacramento, this is going on too.
How
Everybody's like,
did-
Sacramento's a big league city. They had like 8,000 people there last night. Can't even sell out a AAA ballpark.
They're actually
and the Cubs were they still playing the Cubs
Yeah,
yesterday?
the Cubs.
Playing the damn Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubs are mashing.
they're screaming to sell the team. They're in
I know.
Sacramento.
Selling,
And
yelling,
in the
sell the
stands,
team.
"Sell the team!"
Oh yeah.
Damn, if you had the Cubs playing in a 10,000 at PGE Park, you
If
imagine
I
that?
could be spider on the
was
wall to give
so
Rob
bad.
Manfred truth serum about the whole A's situation, that would be behind closed doors. They have to be seething.
It's a
Yeah.
disaster. It's an
sell,
absolute
sell to
disaster.
Portland and get it over with.
Here-
Ivan Herrera hitting 3 home runs in a game. When is the moment when you stop moving you the way it did when you were younger?
I think it depends on the player. I think it's a big part of it. Just like big games in the NBA.
so. Judge does this. It's
a big-
probably the top
Yeah,
story.
Judge-
If
Shohei
Ohtani
does
hits
it.
3 bombs last night, it's a
Right.
lead story on
Yeah.
SportsCenter. Had you ever heard of this cat before
I
yesterday?
just told you no. I
And I believe if I saw it correctly,
Minor league
he's
hitter
the
of the year.
first Cardinals catcher to ever hit 3 home runs in a game. How did Molina not? I mean, Molina was a catcher for frickin' ever.
He was for a long
3
time.
home runs in a game is
I know.
hard, man.
Yeah, that's
That's
Paul
why it was a
O'Neill.
big deal.
That's Paul O'Neill. I can't hit 3 in a game. You crazy? What? 3? You want 3 home runs? Come on. Little
let's-
Billy needs it.
Let's appreciate 3 donger nights, okay? That's all I'm
Yes.
saying. 3 dongers in a game is huge.
Look, this guy's off to a phenomenal start in the year. We'll see if it lasts for him. You mentioned the first 3 home run game for a catcher. It is funny when it happens, though, because I think a lot
Yeah,
of it
for
just
a Cardinals catcher.
if you for a Cardinal catcher, thank you. If it's like there's an NBA name out there that you would know. If a guy had like a 50-point game, it wouldn't even register on the Dirt Richter scale.
Really?
Yeah. That to me is what the 3 home run has turned into. I mean, we had this debate with Devin Booker
But we-
scoring. What did Booker have? 70, and I
So
poo-pooed it.
You completely
Or was it
poo-pooed
60?
No, it was a
was
70
70,
against
yeah.
the Celtics. And
Hey,
you're like,
overrated.
they suck. Who else is shooting? Who cares?
Took 57 shots in the game.
70 points, man.
It's nothing, man. Doesn't move my needle.
I'm trying to think now because I think you're largely right on it matters who hits them.
If Jokic goes for 60, like that's wow, look at that. Jokic is the best player on the planet. If it's Delano Banton
So
around the rest of the NBA, that's
Paolo
not-
Banchero gets 56 in a game. You don't care?
No. I don't. I don't.
It's funny. I was going Bancaro or Franz Wagner.
Franz Wagner.
I went to the Magic.
Franz Wagner.
Because the Magic are probably the least watched team in the entire Eastern Conference.
That are
Yeah.
like some semblance of good.
Yeah,
like
their
they're not
games under 500.
They're not
I mean,
the
we'll see if
Wizards.
the Cardinals end up being good this year. We'll
Corey
wait on that.
Kispert for the Wizards goes for 50.
Nothing.
Oh,
Nothing at all.
buddy, talk about nobody caring.
Nobody cares. No, it does not matter. You're on a bad team.
Because that's a 3-point. That's somebody who could get hot from
Yeah.
3 on some random
You make
night
10 of them
and
in a night,
just
there.
go berserk.
Yeah, you're over halfway there.
Trey Murphy on the Pelicans.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Sorry, Trey. Good job. Nobody
Sorry,
cares.
Steph goes for 50. Hey, look at that. He made 12 threes last night. That's a big deal. Trey Murphy, nobody cares.
Do you know how unfair that is to those athletes? That
Yeah.
like Ivan Herrera is sitting here and he can't comment, but he just listens to this segment.
Exactly.
And he
24-year-old, 3 bombs in a game.
Had
So
the
because my
game
name's
of
not
my
Aaron
life.
Judge,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Like, sorry, Ivan.
I think that's a good poll question today. Do you care about guys hitting 3 home runs anymore? I think we're just so... I don't know if it's just been desensitized. Is that the word I'm looking
Well,
for?
I think we don't watch
happened so many
SportsCenter
times.
the way we used to.
No.
It's not religious must-watch TV every day.
What
'cause
percentage of our audience even knew that guy did that yesterday?
I think a
Dude,
decent amount.
I
Sports fans?
don't think
Point.
so. I don't think so.
Zero
You are giving our audience
0.09%.
way too much credit. They played the Angels, who are one of the most forgettable organizations in all of
First
baseball.
of all, who's up
Nobody was watching that game.
SVP after the Pistons Thunder game on ESPN?
It was also happening midday our time.
Midday
It was like noon when
on
he
a
was hitting these
Wednesday.
dingers.
Like, you're not what? No.
Okay,
I don't think anybody knew that happened.
Now, the Magic Hat is the one that dictated this conversation, not
Magic
me.
Hat did tell us.
We have a loaded second hour. We got Buddy Martin, who covers Florida. We'll continue on with our Final Four previews. I like the Gators to win the whole enchilada, but I'm wrong about almost everything I pick. But we'll talk to Buddy Martin at 7:30 for the Daily Ticker. It is a loaded second hour, Dirt and Sprague Hour 2 on the Fan.
the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, Trailblazers still mathematically alive in the fight for the final play-in spot. 3 out starting play today north of the border in Toronto to face the Raptors at 4:30 on KUNP, Xfinity Channel 1016. They are 3.5-point favorites in the NBA. Wednesday night, the Rockets clinched their playoff spot in the Western Conference with a 143-105 rout of the Jazz. Spurs took advantage of a weary Nuggets squad in a 113-106 upset. They are just a game behind the Blazers. In the major leagues, the Padres and Dodgers have yet to lose on the young season. San Diego with a 5-2 win over Cleveland. Jackson Merrill with a 2-run home run shortly after signing a $135 million contract extension in L.A. They spotted the Braves 5 runs, then came back and finished it off with a Shohei Ohtani walk-off home run in the 9th for the 6-5 win. Portland Winterhawks are on the verge of clinching their first-round playoff series. They got the overtime game winner from Diego Buttazzoni at 37:57 of extra time to win Game 4 5-4. They can clinch the series Friday at Memorial Coliseum. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black
All right, welcome back in. Hour 2, Dirt and Sprague here on 1080 The Fan, the Odyssey app, 99.5 HD2, and youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan. Good morning. The Fan text line's 503-864-6326. It's where you can reach us. Also, the YouTube chat. Always lively at YouTube chat.
Always lively. Dude, I could choke down 6 of those
Sometimes
easily.
it gets a little overly religious, political, but
spicy.
we try not to dive into that world too much. We like to make fun of everybody, to be honest with you.
You're damn right we do.
A lot to get to. Buddy Martin covers the Florida Gators. We've been doing Final Four previews last couple days. We're just going to carry it over. So Florida today will save what may be the best for last in Duke going into their matchup against Houston. But Buddy Martin will join us for the Daily Ticker. Because we went a little long there, I'm going to kick over what I was going to lead with the second hour.
Totally fair.
And the magic hat's mighty deep today.
It is a deep hat today.
There's a lot of magic in that old hat of Jason Swigart.
I'm picturing like a combination of the Magician and Frosty the Snowman with Cal Norton Jr. Now you see me, now you don't. And I don't know how to connect those two images in my mind.
Oh, when I think
the magician hopping around with his hat, give me my hat back.
I always do when I think magician. Think of the Frosty the Snowman magician.
It's a pretty famous magician.
Didn't want the hat. The hat was magical. Then he wanted the hat back.
He had the old-fashioned top hat there.
He basically killed Frosty and was going to murder a child.
He did. He murdered Frosty.
And then all Santa said was, "Go home and write 1,000 times, I'm sorry, and I'll give you your Christmas gift." It's like he almost murdered a child, Santa.
He did, yeah. I mean, Santa knew the Frosty was going to come back. He knew he'd be okay.
He just Christmas snow.
He just needed a little bit of snow, a little bit of magic in the air.
All right, magician, what did you pull?
What's the buzz?
What's the play?
What's the buzz? This one was, I think this is actually really interesting. It maybe not be a topic we all follow and care deeply about, but when you stop and think about it for a moment, is it not fascinating that Buzz Williams was the coach of Texas A&M,
Yes.
the mighty SEC.
The mighty SEC.
The money's there.
Yeah, all that money.
The rabid fan base. Kevin Willard leaves Maryland, gets to the tournament, leaves Maryland, gets to a Sweet 16.
Goes to the Big East.
Goes to the Big East and says, I want to coach Villanova. And Buzz Williams says, I'm leaving Texas A&M to go to Maryland?
He is one of the more interesting coaches in all of college athletics. I feel like he has made
What am I missing here?
3 consecutive what I would consider lateral moves.
Yeah.
Not upgrading his situation in the least.
I wonder if he was somehow maybe knew he was on his way out at Texas A&M.
I went and looked at this last night. I don't see anything that suggests he was about to get fired.
They've made the tournament 3 straight years.
Yeah.
They've won a tournament game back-to-back years.
They were good this year.
So, SEC, whatever, that stuff gets nauseating, but they've been to the second round of the tournament back-to-back years. When was the last time Texas A&M basketball did that? There's not a lot
They've been a little up and down.
I just don't know.
He went from Marquette, which is a decent job, but
I think that's a good job.
right, in the old Biggies, and then he jumped to Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm. That one was weird.
That was when the ACC
kind of-
was
Kind of a lateral move. I don't really.
basketball conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he went from Virginia Tech after getting to the Sweet 16 and took the Texas A&M job. So and again, maybe I'm wrong here. I don't follow college basketball as closely as you guys. What's Texas A&M's basketball history?
I'm looking it up right now, actually.
Doesn't seem like it's that good off the top of my head. I don't remember a lot of deep Texas A&M runs.
High school or these high-profile basketball coaches.
I mean, they've largely been. Yeah, it's kind of what I thought. So remember, Mark Turgeon was there in
Yep.
the early 2000s, got to the tournament. Billy Gillespie got there a couple times. Billy Kennedy got there a couple times. It's kind of like an up and down program.
So you get there and win a
Yeah.
game, and then you're done.
Then you go a
get
couple
there and win a
years,
game,
yeah,
it's done.
and
So
then you're back.
That's not the worst basketball program
But
on the planet.
back-to-back second-round losses in the year prior. Or
Yeah,
3
how
years
much
ago,
of a
first-round
backseat
loss.
do you have to take to football there?
Yeah,
I mean, all SEC schools do.
I would imagine every single one
Not
of them
Kentucky.
Well, maybe
Kentucky goes 6-6, and their coach will pop off and say, "We're just as important as basketball."
Yeah.
And I don't know how. Look, I know Kentucky's different. I do. I'm acknowledging this. But if Kentucky football had a 10-2 season, is he wrong?
But I wonder, like the schools though, Florida, the Bruce Pearl at Auburn, Tennessee with Rick Barnes, are those schools now not ignoring the basketball program in the way that maybe they had before, and maybe that isn't.
I think the rise of that conference would indicate they've absolutely invested.
But I wonder too if though still the mentality every day in the athletic facilities and the administrative offices, it's still football, and that at some point as a basketball coach that's getting your team to Sweet 16s, you go, I'm tired of always having to wait my turn and wait for the crumbs after football.
Yeah, the funny thing about this is, why did Willard say he was leaving Maryland?
Yeah, because there apparently wasn't any NIL with him, but
There was no financial backing. He said,
that's why
his
this shocked
AD
me.
left though.
Yeah.
So he might not have the backing
The relationships
from the
are
new
never
AD,
the
and
same,
he's
yeah.
like, I'm getting out of here before I get
so
whacked.
that offhanded comment of a guy that's like, my guy left, so I'm going to leave. And Villanova's a really good job. Or was there truth in it? And if there was truth in it, why would you leave an SEC school?
Yeah, I don't get that. To me, it's a lateral move at best. I know we like to romanticize Maryland in our head because of our childhood and Juan Dixon and Wilcox and Steve
Gary
Blake,
Williams.
who can forget those
Right.
teams,
Yeah.
right? And winning a national championship. That was the second time they had been to the Sweet 16 in the last 24 years,
Yeah.
man.
Well, but I'm asking sincerely,
That's
too,
nearly a quarter century. This is not a good program anymore.
how good is Buzz Williams anyway?
He's fine. Went to an Elite Eight with Marquette.
Fine.
Went to a Sweet 16 with Virginia Tech, and he
Yeah.
went to the second round twice with Texas A&M. He's not a terrible coach, but
No.
I don't view him as, oh my God, look out for Maryland in the ACC now.
Yeah, I
Or in the
find
Big Ten. I'm an idiot.
The
Big Ten.
coaching decisions just. I saw that and I'm like, what? Why would you go from A&M to Maryland?
All of his
Okay.
moves to me reek of lateral moves, and that's why it's so funny. Marquette to Virginia Tech. Is Virginia Tech a better job than Marquette?
To Swag's point, the ACC when he made that move was the premier basketball conference.
Okay,
so
that's fine.
that would be the argument of why that's
Virginia
not
Tech to
lateral.
Texas A&M.
In the moment, you're kind of like, but it is the SEC.
Was that when all the
But they weren't
conference
investing in the
realignment was going
SEC.
on?
I mean, they weren't this level of SEC at that point.
The SEC
SEC basketball was not thought of 6 years ago the way it is now.
I would say that was the start of all of this.
Very well could have
I
been.
think
Yeah, that
that's
was
when
when they
all of it
started
started
it.
going
Yeah.
up.
But
You're
at the
like, holy
time when
crap.
he left that job, I don't think any of us viewed like, Duke offered you, you got to go. It's not Michigan State. It's not one of North Carolina offered you. On any of those, I can't blame you for leaving, and I view it the same now. These are lateral moves for him.
But take the Final Four teams. Is there a better move for any of those four coaches than where they're currently at? We know Shire, no.
No.
Shire, no. It's
Todd
Duke.
Golden, is there a better job in that sport than Florida? Is it Kentucky?
I would say Houston would be the one. I don't know what their situation
reigns,
is.
dude. He owns that.
I'm not
He
saying
owns that.
that-
And
that
Kelvin
college.
Sampson's what, 69, 70 now?
I'm not saying he's going to
He's
leave.
not going anywhere.
I'm saying if North Carolina offered you the job, you would leave.
I don't know.
I mean, traditionally, I'd say, yeah, I agree
if
with
you
you,
were
but that conference
younger-ish,
isn't
yes.
very good.
Right.
But
And you get everything you want at that program.
Yeah.
And then what would be the Auburn? I mean, Bruce Pearl. I mean, there's like 3 jobs better than those 4, right? Or
Yeah.
better than 2 of those 4.
There's not a lot of better jobs out
No,
there.
there's not.
These are good programs.
whenever
Yeah.
Bill Self decides to go to the NBA,
Yep,
the
that
Kansas
will be the big
job.
one. Yep.
Kansas job will be big. North Carolina, I know they extended
Well.
him, but at what point does that become, hey, Duke's winning national championships and we're
Dude, they
fading
were
into the
terrible
background.
this year. Don't
They
let
were
them
not good,
getting
but-
into the tournament change that.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole debate, should they even have been in? Izzo, whenever he's able to or willing to step away from Michigan State, will be an interesting one.
Is that? I don't know how to feel about Michigan
I don't
State.
know how to feel about that.
I think that's a good program because of him. I don't know how sold I am.
Yeah,
now.
I don't know
think
about that. They've been
that'll
elite
either
for a
be
long time.
somebody that's one of his assistants, or
They've been elite for a long time because of him.
there will be that
Magic
will be
Johnson
an
won a national
Izzo tie.
championship
That will be
there.
an Izzo tie that comes back.
What year did Izzo get there?
He's been there for like 20-something years.
Because what were they after Magic left? I don't remember hearing a lot about them.
No,
I mean, I wasn't
not
alive,
in the 80s.
so I don't know. I wasn't watching the NCAA tournament in 1983. I don't really have a frame of reference.
They
on
were
that.
good.
What year did he get there? 90.
Tom Izzo took over in 1995.
Okay, so the mid 90s.
Um,
So what were they after Magic until 1995?
So what they won? They must have won the title in 78, 79.
Yeah,
Yes,
79.
79.
I mean, they were a tournament team.
Okay.
A good chunk.
They
Judd
were
Heathcote was
quality.
the coach.
Yeah, Judd Heathcote.
They went on a little bit of a drought right after Magic from basically 79 to 87, and then from 89 until Izzo took over. Sweet 16, second round,
Yeah, but-
second round. I mean, they were a tournament team every
But
year.
like college football dirt, every program is susceptible for the fall off. North Carolina, when Dean Smith left, like it was steadied, and then it ended up kind of cratering.
yeah.
And that's one of the bluest of bloods. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, a Michigan State loses an Izzo, you definitely could go get a great coach and it just keeps humming.
I would just say that's a job
But
that
if
would,
you miss,
of course, I mean, you never want to be the guy that follows the guy. I understand that argument. If I'm a coach looking for jobs, I want to know what's the buy-in of the university, what's the buy-in of the fan base, and what's my financial backing. And I think you check all 3 of those boxes at Michigan State.
See,
It's a rabid fan base.
yeah.
They sell out every game.
I think it's the university.
University's
the
all
NIL.
in.
Like Chris Beard just did this. He parlayed the threat of A&M.
Yeah, with Ole Miss.
And Ole Miss gave more money,
Yeah.
more commitment to NIL. And like he goes, okay, I'm not going anywhere.
yeah.
Brilliant move by him because he had a great year. Let's go one more Magic hat, and then we'll get to a non-Magic hat.
It's a long Magic hat today.
Well, see, that was a topic that I'm like, it kind of flew under the radar.
It did.
But then I started thinking and reading, and I'm like, dude,
The
this
Chris
is-
Beard thing was funny too because he went behind back channels, told A&M he wanted the job, and A&M legitimately behind the scenes thought, "Oh,
They're getting
we're going to
him,
get
yeah.
him," and then he turned around and was like, "Just kidding."
needed more.
Your last one, Trojan Man.
This is
Trojan
great.
man.
I never know what the magician's going to pull from his old trusty hat. All right? The way that Steve was always looking for blues clues, Swag pulled this
Yeah.
perfectly from his magic hat.
That's right.
And I want to carry this
rabbit you
over.
want.
The Trojan Man. Let's talk about it and what topic it is next on The Fan. Buddy Martin covers the Florida Gators. They get ready for their Auburn rematch in the Final Four this weekend, so we'll talk with him at the Daily Ticker. Good stuff in the old Magic Hat there. Lightning rod conversation about college basketball coaches.
That was a good Magic Hat conversation, man. How many of those? This is an interesting question of the fan text line, 503-864-6326. We treat you right before, during, and after the text.
Dude, spit on that name.
Whoa, dude, come on, man. Jeez. It's a family show.
She's back, by the way.
She is back.
Not going to be prosecuted.
Not going to prison. Good for her. How many programs, legitimately are on, like UCLA?
Yeah, we would have said that's a no-brainer blue blood, but Mick Cronin, I think, got to a Final Four, and
he did.
That was one time.
Lost on a half-court shot to Gonzaga.
This is kind of my point. If UCLA and North Carolina, if they can go through those lulls, I don't know how many jobs. Like Michigan State, I think it's totally fair to ask out loud, is that a great gig or is that a good gig?
Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling
these
through
are just schools. These are random schools that all we would have said no-brainer, the best of the best get picked there.
Yeah.
And they've been good, but they haven't been great.
Yeah, Indiana's fallen into this category as well, where it's just it's a fan base that has massive expectations, and anything short of winning a national championship will probably piss them off and disappoint them. Well, interesting scenario.
The last topic selected from the Magic Hat was actually perfect. I thought this was a standalone topic, but I put in the Magic Hat in hopes this would happen, and it did. I saw this yesterday. I don't follow this very often. This is more up your wheelhouse. USC flips Ducks Tomahini Topi, the number 3 defensive tackle in 2026. I saw this headline. I went, oh, okay. So I clicked it. Just out of curiosity, in case you brought it up, because you dive in all kinds of dark recruiting webs.
Yes, I do.
And I'm reading about this. He's the number 3 defensive tackle, the number 72 overall prospect in the 2026 class. He was committed to Oregon for 5.5 months before flipping his commitment. It's the 10th ESPN 300 pledge for USC during this cycle.
Yep.
That's more than any other program nationally. It's a 4th top 100 recruit in their impressive defensive class, according to ESPN. And it was interesting going through this article because it basically tees up that Lincoln Riley and USC are absolutely learning now from what they have failed to do early.
Only took them 4 years to figure it out.
And now there's a turf war happening between Dan Lanning and Lincoln Riley. USC now is in your kitchen. And they're saying, we're taking your guys.
Yeah.
We took this quarterback that you wanted. We got the number 2 dual threat quarterback. Yeah. And now USC and Oregon are finally, after years, in real legitimate recruiting
Nice
battles.
of you to show up, USC. It's been a while. We all thought this was going to be the case when Lincoln Riley was hired. Everybody told me Oregon would never land another West Coast recruit when Lincoln Riley took that job. And so it's nice to have at least somebody standing toe-to-toe. Before I say they're in my kitchen, I'd ask, can you win a road conference game? And then you can be in my kitchen? Let's see how that plays out first. No, that's interesting. I had Nimick on last week when you were out. And because, I want to talk recruiting. And so they have found their sweet spot, I think, they have a household name, a head coach, and they finally have figured out their NIL stuff behind the scenes. It's been a disaster for the first couple of years.
That does seem like what some of this is they finally have the collective together.
They finally have the collective together. And so, look, tip of the cap to them. They're doing a hell of a job on the recruiting trail. They have the number 1 recruiting class for 2026 currently. Oregon was in that standing for a while. Oregon only has 8 commits right now for 2026. USC has 19. So there's a massive difference there. 7 of them are 3-star recruits. So when you look at the average ranking of the player, Oregon's player caliber is higher than USC's.
Yeah.
They have a higher volume of overall players because they're just trying to fill some roster spots. And they're going to have to backfill some of the things that they need. I think the most interesting part of this will be, what does USC do this year? And how does it affect the recruiting class? Because there is an aspect of this of you have a ton of momentum, but as we just pointed out, a lot of these guys who have decommitted have been committed for a long time. Guess what happens? Decommitments happen all the time. That's why whenever you see a verbal commitment, you get excited. Jared Curtis is the number 1 quarterback in the country. He's going to announce on May 5th, I think it is, whether he's going to Oregon or Georgia. And even if he does, that's not going to be the end of it, man. Signing day's not until December. It's a long ways off. And so you got to go through the season. You're still going to do official visits. Like all of this stuff, there's still a long runway there. What does USC have to do to keep this recruiting class together? And does it crater at all if they don't live up to expectations again on the field? Would be my biggest question, because they are clearly trending in the right direction. They have clearly figured it out behind the scenes. Better late than never, I guess. Took them 4 years to figure out you got to have NIL down, and maybe Lincoln Riley should take defense seriously. But if they go 7-5 again, and let's say Oregon goes 10-2, do they hold on to the entire class? Do they miss a guy or two? That to me is the biggest question I got going into this year.
Well, also, if you go 7-5, what's the patience of the university and fan
Just
base?
on the head coach in general.
It's like, hey, last year you were not good, and this year you're not much better. 7-5 is not. I'd say at a minimum you got to be 8-4 to maybe, and even then,
it's
people
crazy
are like
even to say that in year 4 that 8-4
No,
is
I know.
like that's your floor. You got to get to 8-4.
I'm well aware of that. So, like, saying it out loud makes you kind of even question that record and say, is the floor 9-3? I don't know. USC is interesting because I don't know how good they're going to be next year, but they're going to have another year with their defensive coordinator who they stole from UCLA. And when I'm reading this article, I'm thinking about those USC conversations that we had on our show. Obviously, Meringue being a USC fan, he, pipes in a little cockier, but like, I thought that was a home run hire with Lincoln, and now you're like, here we go, Oregon, USC, and it's gone largely Oregon's way. There's no doubt about it. The seasons with the Bourne Landing when Washington played Oregon back-to-back years, and one year they played them twice the year prior, even though those didn't go Oregon's way, you knew Oregon was a really damn good football team, and you watched two elite football teams play, and your takeaway is, God, this is great. It's unfortunate. It's a reminder, again, the conference gets completely railroaded and blown up, but what this reminds me of is we need the West Coast to have multiple powers.
We absolutely do.
You have to have multiple powers. You could want to be the big fish in that pond, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to be the big fish with another good-sized fish that's just barely smaller.
It makes it much more entertaining.
And so maybe that's what USC is establishing here, is getting back to what they were year one with him when they got to the Pac-12 title game with Caleb Williams. We'll see if they can do that. But you need Jed Fish. We'll see what he does at Washington. You need Lincoln Riley. I have no faith that UCLA is going to figure this out at all.
No.
But you need the West Coast more. You need more great teams, because having just one, I think it's what makes me not care about the Big Ten. It kind of kills the buzz of the Big Ten for me.
For sure.
As a football fan, because it's you and then the East Coast, and it's you and it's the Midwest.
It's Ohio State, it's Penn State.
I need it to be Oregon, Washington, Oregon, USC. If this new world is going to exist, I need these other schools to step up and make this a fun West Coast version of that conference.
I would say for USC this year, there is zero argument of why they shouldn't be 4-0. They open with Missouri State, Georgia Southern, at Purdue, home against Michigan State. Like in year 4 under Lincoln Riley, that has to be a 4-0
Is Clay Helton still at Georgia Southern?
I believe that he is. He's coming back to L.A. this year, which is an interesting scheduling factoid. But if in year 4 of Lincoln Riley, if you can't start 4-0 in that schedule, then you got bigger fish to fry here. And then things get tough. Illinois is returning a lot of talent. They got to go on the road to Illinois. We'll see what Michigan is. If Underwood ends up winning that job as a freshman, they go on the road to Notre Dame, on the road to Nebraska, on the road to Oregon late in the season. You get Iowa at home, who's always a buzzsaw that's going to try and play in a 9-6 game. So after those first 4, he has to start 4-0, and then you go, 4-4, whatever it would be the rest of the year, or 5-3 the rest of the year?
I think they need 5-3. I think a 9-3, as I say it out loud.
9-3 is a good year.
9-3 is a good year.
It's funny to think about. That's the base level in year 4, because if Lanning goes 9-3 this year, the thought will be the sky is falling.
Yeah.
But if Lincoln Riley goes 9-3 this year in year 4, it's, hey, look at that, we're trending in the right direction. So I'm going to love those analogies as the season unfolds. But USC has clearly woken up. Now you got to go prove it, and that's the biggest thing in recruiting. There's a lot of programs that can spend money. And right now they might be outspending some to get recruits. Some of it might be the selling of the building back of the culture and the defensive staff. Maybe that's impacting their recruiting. But if you come out this year and you fall flat on your face, you lose early to Michigan State at home, Aiden Childs beats you, you fall to Illinois, Oregon smokes you at Autzen, you lose to Nebraska, you lose to Notre Dame, and you go 6-6, you're telling me the number 1 recruiting class in the country is going to hold on? I don't believe it.
Who are you more concerned about in the next 3 years? As a Duck fan.
USC or Washington? I mean, it's USC. It's USC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to a Florida Gator preview. The Final Four, they get ready to take on Auburn again. How healthy is Jani Broome? How lucky were they to escape the Texas Tech game down 10 points with like 3 minutes to go? Went on a crazy 18-4 run to get themselves into the Final Four. We talk with Buddy Martin of the Daily Ticker coming up next on The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, Trailblazers road trip ventures north of the border tonight to Toronto to face the Raptors 4:30 on KUNP Xfinity Channel 1016. Blazers 3 games out of the final play-in spot, currently held by the Kings. They're 3.5-point favorites. In the major leagues, the Padres and Dodgers have yet to lose a game on the young season. San Diego took down Cleveland 5-2 thanks to a 2-run home run from Jackson Merrill, while the Dodgers spotted the winless Braves 5 runs, came back and finished them off in the bottom of the 9th with a Shohei Ohtani walk-off home run. Seconds after killing off a penalty late in the second overtime in Game 4 of their first-round playoff series, the Winterhawks got the game-winning goal from Diego Buttazzoni at 37:57 of extra time. They now have a 3-1 lead over the Cougars and can clinch the series Friday night at home at Memorial Coliseum. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the won, some you haven't.
How'd you do that? Actually, I'm not even mad. It's amazing.
The Daily Ticker with Dirt and Sprague is brought to you by Pelican Brewing, independently brewing on the Oregon coast since 1996. Crack open a can of Beat Breaker Double IPA and take a bold, hoppy break. Pelican Brewing, born at the beach.
All right, Pelican Brewing Company presents today's Daily Ticker. Pelican invites you to take a beach break at one of their 4 coastal locations, Cannon Beach, Tillamook, Pacific City, and their newest location on the south end of Lincoln City. Pelican Brewing Company, born at the beach. Let's continue talking about the Final Four. As it is on Saturday, we preview 2 of the teams. We still got Duke to go tomorrow. Today we go to Florida. The Gators are back in national relevance, and they're in the Final Four. Joining us now, Buddy Martin, been covering the Gators for a long time. Gator Bait Media down there in Florida. Buddy, good morning to you. Thanks for the time, man. It's been interesting to watch this program kind of evolve back into this point. When the coaching hire was made, was this what the thought that maybe the future could be in a couple of years? What was the thought when he was hired, and how much has he impressed here early on down in Gainesville?
Well, good morning to you out there in Oregon. I think the home of original craft beers, I'm not sure. Anyway, great state, and Eugene, and, of course, importantly, et cetera. Traveled out there once when I was covering the Denver Nuggets a few times. It's good to be with you. No, nobody saw this coming. I mean, look, this is their 6th trip to the Final Four. It's been a long time between drinks of water. We know Billy Donovan's era and the back-to-back championships, 06, 07. And it was the glory days. And quite frankly, I think getting back to the tournament was a priority. But nobody except the people playing the game, and Todd Golden perhaps, had any idea this team was this good, which has been kind of one of the really fun things about it. The discovery of this team is so much fun to watch. I've been covering Gator sports for, 4 or 5 decades. This has been one of the most fun stories to cover because you go way above expectations. You got a good story of players who like the game, who want to play, who are not opting out, who are not looking for NIL deals. They're playing the game for the love of the game and their personal gain. Just don't be Pollyannish about it. But they also just love their teammates and love playing. It's a hard thing to beat when you like this. You got to play together as Todd's got them playing right now. And what an amazing story, especially Walter Clayton.
Yeah, Walter Clayton was who I was going to ask you about because he's been the best closer, I think, in the tournament. Most people watch this kid play, and it's like, where did he come from? What's the story? And it's been great to kind of learn about Walter Clayton Jr. What is the relationship with Florida? What brought him to Florida and him having this stage where he's delivering time and time again?
He's from Florida, from Lake Wales originally. He was a heck of a football player. He had offers from big-time schools, including Alabama and different. He was a heck of a football player, but he wanted to play basketball because he didn't like getting hit. Although in basketball today you get hit quite a bit, as we found out. But he comes to us from Rick Pitino. He transferred in on the transfer portal. Todd Golden had him identified, and nobody had any idea this guy was this good. By the way, he is now celebrated as the best basketball player ever in Florida basketball history.
Wow.
There are people who will watch. I saw the 06 and 07 team. I loved them. Forgive me, Billy. Forgive me, Noah. Forgive me, guys. But this right, if they win right now, if they win, they go through this and they got a shot, as you know, they'll be the best basketball team and with the best basketball player ever in the history of the school.
Interesting.
Wow.
That's a great take.
Buddy coming on with
the heat, man, because you mentioned the back-to-back titles until
it.
UConn did it last year. That record had stood. They were the last team to do that in college basketball. Buddy Martin is our guest covering the Gators for a long time, Gator Bait Media. Now, they're playing Auburn in the Final Four, which is a rematch. They won that game. I believe it was on the road for them. How do we feel about that win translating into this weekend? What do we make of the rematch against an SEC foe?
Well, first of all, let's not be naive. Any one of these 4 teams come in and say they're all number 1 seeds.
Yeah.
They're all good players. The team playing the best right now is Florida. If you saw the video, look up the YouTube on the Florida Auburn basketball game. They led that game by 21 points at one point, and Auburn lost it by 9. They completely dominated that Auburn team. Now, are they different? Maybe. that much different. We'll see. Of course, Pearl knows Golden quite well. He's his mentor. He found him, and he coached with him for a few years, and he's Bruce Pearl protege. But I think the protege might be about to outstrip his mentor here. The way they played against Auburn, they completely whacked them. Now, do I expect that kind of game again? Not necessarily. But this team, keep in mind, I'm looking at the roster now. Tell me where you got a roster where 10 players can play any time in the game, by the way. Not just the spot substitutions. Someone asked me on the show the other day, what unsung player do you think could step out for Florida? I said none, because they're all sung players. We all know about them. Every one of them. I can give you 4, 5, 6 guys that can make the difference in the game right now. But the guard play is exceptional, certainly. We know all about Walter Clayton Jr. and what he's done. Will Richard, a special as well. And then you throw in the other guys like Denzel Aberdeen, who's off the bench. He's an incredible player. Elijah Martin. All these guys are special. But the guy that seems to be getting all the run right now after he's played so well is Tommy Howe. He is amazing what he did coming off the bench, knocking down those threes as he did. And he and Walter Clayton personally saw to it that they overtook the Texas Tech in that 10-point spurt and beat them. So I would say that it's just an amazing depth. And think about this, guys. The way they win the game is they use that bench. They play all those guys almost, at least 8 or 9 of them. And by the time you get to the last 4 minutes, you're worn out. I mean, you can't keep up with these guys. And these big guys, watch them run the court. I mean, they can run the court like they're guards. So I know I'm sounding like I'm blowing smoke. I'm just telling you, this is an exceptional bunch of athletes and a terrific unit. And credit goes to Todd Golden.
Well, I'm curious, buddy, because it sounds like based on what you're talking about with the last time they played Auburn and they kind of controlled things and how much depth they have compared to maybe some of these other teams that are left here in the Final Four, you clearly like Florida. So how do you envision the game going, and how much of what Texas Tech did to Florida? Because prior to that 18-4 run, I think everybody in America thought that run was going to be over for the Florida Gators with Texas Tech winning, and then they had that big spurt at the end there where they came back and won. How much of what Tech did to Florida would worry you about what Auburn potentially could do?
Well, Auburn can do a lot. They got great players, obviously, and a lot. Look, Florida hit, I think, 10 threes against them. If Florida's shooting and Clayton's shooting the basketball, there's not much they can do, although they got their own guys who can play. I think it's a matter of rebounding. It's going to be Florida. Florida can out-rebound you. They do good on the glass offensively really well. I think it's a completely different kind of game when you play Auburn. You got to limit their big guys somewhat. That's better, easier said than done. I think it'll play out if Florida's shooting the basketball and they don't turn it over, which they've done a couple of times in the first half. Their whole book is get down by 2 points at half or up by 2 points at half and blow them out the last 4 minutes. I think that's what they'd like to do here. But, in this Final Four Saturday, the adrenaline runs pretty hard. That guys can play longer, but I was told by an old NBA coach once before, tire them out and foul them out. He said, when your legs get tired, shooters can't shoot the basketball. I didn't know what happened to Texas Tech, but they missed their front end one-on-ones, which really killed them. Florida made their foul shots. I see it playing out kind of like it's played out the last couple of weeks, but I think Florida won the game by 6 points or so.
We've really enjoyed the conversation, buddy. Last one for you, and sorry for the curveball, but we've had a topic on the show I'm curious to get your thoughts on because you've been around the industry a long time, and you seem like an esteemed gentleman, and I want to ask you this. What is Buddy Martin's dream hot dog?
I'm not a hot dog guy, but I do like the traditional ballpark Franks.
Yeah.
I think probably the Dodger dogs are as good as I've ever eaten.
Same.
I used to go there, travel to L.A. with the Nuggets basketball team. And we'd go to the Dodger game. We'd eat about 8 hot dogs apiece. And those probably as good as you want to get. Ballpark Franks too. I like the mustard relish pickle, onion,
Good man.
no mayonnaise, no ketchup. That's me.
Good choice there, buddy.
We knew you would.
Real quick, sorry, you've brought this up twice now. What years did you cover the Denver Nuggets, and what was your most fond memory when you visited Portland with the Nuggets?
Well, it's always the experience going on the road with Doug Moe, the coach. And it was always a pleasure to be with him because in an era today where you can't even talk to those coaches, you're going to be in a press conference. When you can go spend 4 to 6 hours in a hotel coffee shop with Doug Moe and Tropper Travellini and those guys and talk ball all day long, that is no way you can go back. But I think probably I just remember Portland being a pleasant place, a place that obviously we know who the king was there, and it was always a pleasant experience to go there. But I loved covering the NBA back then, and not so much now. I'm not so much of a fan of it. It's just changed. The game has changed, but it has a wonderful, and mostly because in my relationships with other people, that's what's been for almost 5 decades to me, relationships with people. I've enjoyed sports so much because of that.
Great stuff. Covering the NBA, covering college basketball. He loves a good hot dog. He's got good taste on what goes on the hot dog. Buddy Martin, the Buddy Martin Show, covering the Gators, GatorBaitMedia.com at Buddy's Show, or Buddy Show on Twitter. Go give him a follow. Buddy, thanks for the time, man. Enjoy the Final Four, and hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Pleasure. Hope so, too. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Buddy Martin from Florida.
I don't eat the wiener.
Not a big hot dog guy.
Dodger dog, he's right.
Dodger dog is a hell of a
right,
dog.
Swag? Huh? Swag?
Swag's never had a Dodger dog. He claims to be a Dodger fan. He's never been to Dodger Stadium.
Swag's never had a Dodger dog?
He's never eaten a Dodger dog. He's never
At
been
Chavez
to
Ravine?
Never been to Dodger Stadium.
That's weird.
Fake fan.
I have.
Fake fan. I've eaten a Dodger dog.
I've had 2 Dodger dogs
I've been
before.
to a Dodger game before.
I don't want to be a jinx.
You're insufferable. God, you are. I hate you. I hate everything about you.
80s, 90s, by the way.
Doug Moe.
Yeah.
Doug Moe.
Was that
80s,
the
90s,
Michael Adams when they were
in the Kerry
Kiki Vandaway?
He's in the Kerry Eggers kind of ballpark.
Yep.
In terms of age and like where he was when he was covering stuff.
But he had good pipes. That was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
That was great.
I loved that. He said they've easily been the best team in the tournament.
Let's go, baby. Pelican Brewing Company presents today's Daily Ticker. Pelican invites you to make a beach break at one of their 4 coastal locations, Cannon Beach, Tillamook, Pacific City, and the newest one in Lincoln City. Pelican Brewing Company, born at the beach. Nice couple of days to go out. Tomorrow, Saturday, supposed to be really nice weather. Good days to be out at the coast. Let's do we're going to be a short segment.
Is it supposed to be nice Saturday? Because we keep checking the weather, and I thought it changed.
It's like 68.
Saturday's supposed to be nice. Sunday now, the rain's creeping in on Sunday.
Sunday's raining, but Saturday's
still good.
68 degrees and a little overcast.
Are you looking at Pacific or Cannon?
I'm looking at Portland currently because I'm playing golf on Saturday.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the coast.
Oh,
It's Pelican.
Pacific City will be 61 and sunny tomorrow and 60 and a little overcast on Saturday.
I can deal with that.
Those are perfect
That's
beach.
perfect.
Today's 51 and sunny. That's good beach weather right there. Now we're living good. Let's do a little peekaboo of the Final Four, which is on Saturday, and then we'll get to some other stuff in the final hour of the show. We're back after this on the Fan.
Who's stinking it up?
Woo! Do not go in there.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up, a sports lowlight that's ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Schedule your appointment online at threemountainshomservices.com.
The good teams, they're going to have records like that against people. And like I said, you have to play really well to beat them, and we understand that. But you also have to look at all the factors that go into it.
Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks coach, blew a double-digit lead last night against the Cavs. They have dropped 6 against Boston and Cleveland collectively.
Yeah, look, it doesn't help when your best player isn't available. So I know that they lost last night and blew a big lead. If they don't have Jalen Brunson in the playoffs, goodbye. Thanks for coming. If he comes back, maybe there's a hope there New York can go on a run to a conference final.
Who's stinking it up? The Knicks, brought to you by our great friends at Three Mountains Home Services. Hey, a local company here to help you. They'll tune up your AC and get your furnace ready for the fall with a $99 deal. 2 tune-ups for only $99. Schedule now online at threemountainshomservices.com because Three Mountains Home Services make home services delightful.
There's no. We get nervous teeing off in front of a gallery on the 10th hole at Eastmoreland.
Crunch Time, brought to you by Crunch Fitness, with memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com.
Hey, Crunch Time, brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 a month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, online at crunch.com. We have a lot to get to in the final hour of the show. An NFL trade that made me say, what are you doing? What are we doing here? What's going on?
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the team is doing in general, and this is one that I've seen people in Dallas be like, not a bad move. Like, oh, all right. We'll talk about that in the final hour. I got some other things in my notes, including an audition for American Idol. I bet you never thought you'd hear an audition for American Idol on our radio show.
I didn't know that show was still going on, and I haven't watched that show since the first season.
It's gone full circle. Carrie Underwood is now a judge.
She didn't win the first one, though, right? She wasn't like year
No, that
3.
was Kelly Clarkson.
That was Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
But
I think she's the biggest.
Clay Aiken? Wasn't Clay Aiken
Yeah,
in
I
year
think
1?
she's, though, the biggest star, like the most
that's
accomplished
for
star
sure.
to come out of that
Clay
show.
wasn't season 1.
He wasn't season 1? Was that Ruben Studdard? Didn't Ruben
No,
Studdard
it was
win an early
Justin. It was Justin
and Kelly.
And Kelly.
And Kelly, okay.
Yeah.
And then
Kelly
I think
Clarkson's
it was,
had a nice. I mean, she has a daytime talk show. Do you guys know that?
Yeah.
She's hawking Wayfair stuff all over the
Boy,
place.
you know whose talk show I really don't like? I'm going to be kind of mean here.
Uh-oh.
Who? Taking shots.
Drew Barrymore makes me very uncomfortable watching her television show.
Really? Because she gets really close to people?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the way she interviews. She's
in your bubble.
She is Swag. This is what it looks like when you watch her radio.
She flashed David Letterman on his desk on his birthday.
Oh, hi.
Tell me how you feel.
I'm a little
Why
uncomfortable.
don't you tell me
I'm
how you feel?
I'm really uncomfortable right now. That elbow massage felt good, though. Thank you.
Why do we interview like that? She gets right next to him and she grabs her hand. She's like, just tell me about your soul. How deep is your soul?
Tell me about your feelings. What kind of energy drink are you drinking over there?
Yeah, it's actually called Pink Slush. Have you not seen her highlights?
I have seen the highlights. They're very uncomfortable.
She had her ex-boyfriend on, Justin Long, who's an actor. He does a lot of like really kind of He did Jeepers Creepers. He does these random movies. Anyway, they dated, and he's on the couch, and he's like married. He's with somebody else. They broke up years ago, and she just grabs his arm and she's, I loved you so much, and I think we both were wrong. And he's just like, and I cared about you too. And she's like, but it just didn't work for us. And I'm just
Hollywood.
Imagine the wife being in the back in the green room, like, what the hell's going on right now?
I just every time I see her interviewing, I'm very uncomfortable. I'm like,
I'm with you
way
on
too
that.
close. There's bubble
I'm
space.
with you on that.
You've gone. The bubble has popped.
Stay out of my personal space.
I mean, I smell. If I'm smelling your breath, we're too close.
Way too close.
And she positions herself as if like she doesn't care about the camera at all, and she's just staring into their. Tell me about the time your mom beat you, and it's like, why?
Whoa, that took a dark turn in
Why?
a hurry.
Why
Drew.
did you go there, Drew?
Calm down, Drew.
Damn it.
People also pointing out they love Buddies. I don't like hot dogs, but when I went to a Dodger game, I had 8 of them. Dude, I could choke down 6 of those easily. That was a quick turn of like, I don't really like hot dogs, but if I do, I eat 8. It's like 0 or 8 kind of thing.
I mean, same. 4th of July, me, I'll probably
He's like
have
an
6 or
alcoholic
7.
for hot dogs. He doesn't drink that often, but when he does, boy, you can't stop Buddy. Are we excited for the Final Four?
Yes.
You excited to watch Houston?
It will be.
I'm playing golf on Saturday, so
It's going to be
I'll
an
DVR
effort
the
at the Hops because the Hops have a 4:05 first pitch on Saturday.
Will all teams score more than 15 points in the first half?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
Will it be a lot more? I don't know. I could see
Will they
Duke
all
at
top
27.
20 in the
They'll
first
all
half?
get over 20. They will all score
Mark it down.
at least a point a minute.
7:57, April 3rd. That's right.
You can't put your phone with the games on in the booth.
I kind of want the
You
experience.
can't call Rodriguez.
I could.
Is on
You
a
could DVR
10-2
it
run.
and watch it later when you get
I
back.
think I'll DVR it and then just come home and have a late night.
Which game are you most excited for?
Florida Auburn, because I think there's a formula for both teams to win.
How about Buddy's? Buddy had 2 pretty big takes there.
He's
One,
pretty high on the Gators, which I can't
Florida-
blame him. They're a good team, but
Florida's been the best. I don't know about that, man.
They were the
shouldn't have
only
won
team.
last game.
Yeah, they almost lost in the Elite 8.
And
if Texas Tech makes free throws, they lose that game probably.
Walter Clayton's the best player.
That was a
and
take.
this is the best team.
That's a hot
That was
take.
a hot
Well,
take.
Best.
Would you
best
pick this team to beat either one of those championship Gator teams?
I don't know if I would.
The second
Horford,
year Florida Gators
Joakim
fun
Noah,
game.
Corey Brewer.
What was the point guard's name?
Oh God,
he's the one that's left out.
he's that guy.
He's Tito.
Who's that guy?
Was it Green?
Green, Torian Green, Corey Brewer, Joakim Noah.
They were
Al
all around for
Horford.
basically both years,
They
right?
came
They
back,
didn't lose
yeah.
anybody.
Came
They all came back for another year.
Joakim just talked about this on a pod. He basically was, and obviously it's a different era, right? So NIL doesn't exist. And he's like, we didn't do it for the money. We just did it because we really had fun playing together and we wanted to be repeat champions.
Yeah, the 06-07 Florida Gators, man, they were 35-5, 13-3 in SEC play.
Dude, I think it's the second year
they had
because
Maurice
had the
Spates on that
experience.
team.
Oh, man.
Or no, that was recruiting class. Sorry. Yeah, Corey Brewer, Torian Green, Al Horford, Joakim Noah. No, Maurice Spates he was a freshman on that team, yeah, too. I mean, that was a loaded roster.
Mo Spates.
Mo Spates,
Mo
man.
Buckets.
Mo Buckets.
Yeah,
always there when you need him.
I think that second national title team, just because of the experience of being able to do it again. I mean, look, Buddy has every right to like this Florida Gator team.
He's a buddy.
Exactly.
I'm not going to question him.
But that team's beating this team.
I would tend to agree with you there. Crunch Time brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 a month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver online at crunch.com. Swag guarantees us everybody will score 20 points in a half in the Final Four. For the love of God, please be right. Lots to get to in the final hour. We have an audition to play for you. Can this become the new karaoke song? Because I would not be opposed to that. A trade went down in the NFL. I got some other tidbits to get to as well. Loaded final hour next on The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, Trailblazers trying to keep their faint hopes to reach the play-in alive north of the border tonight in Toronto against the Raptors. 4:30 tip on Xfinity Channel 1016. Portland's 3.5-point favorites. They're just 3 games behind the Kings. Elsewhere in the NBA, Rockets, the second team in the Western Conference to clinch a playoff spot. They blew out the Jazz 143-105, while the Spurs took advantage of the weary Nuggets 113-106 with the upset. They're just a game behind the Blazers. The Portland Winterhawks are on the verge of clinching their first-round playoff series after a 5-4 victory in double overtime. Wednesday night, Diego Buttazzoni with the game winner at 37-57. Game 5 Friday night at Memorial Coliseum. Last chance to qualify for the Masters is winning this week's stop on the PGA Tour, the Valero Texas Open. TPC San Antonio, Chan Kim right now with a one-shot lead, 4 under, making the turn. Brian Harmon, Tommy Fleetwood among those one-shot back at 3 under. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
More, please. Golf in the Northwest with Jason Swigart is back. Saturdays at 8 a.m. before the Sinner and the Saint on Portland.
Hey, let's do this final hour. Dirt and Sprague here on Portland Sports Leader, 1080 The Fan, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. I did enjoy, we have a listener who's been texting in thoughts from yesterday's show.
Okay.
Because he thought he was watching today's show and didn't just now realize he was watching yesterday's show. And he texted in, Dirt's on a roll on the Blazers right now. I just... I'm talking about the Blazers today. I don't think.
Had somebody
So-
say,
oh, sorry, I just realized that.
Largely agree with Dirt, but man, he got real angry today.
It was just yesterday that I got very angry.
You're telling you kind of got mad. You were starting to actually get mad.
I am very mad. I'm honestly just dead as a fan, to be honest with you, to a certain point. At this point, but yeah, I am a little angry.
I don't think you can be mad and dead at the same time. I think if you're mad,
That's true.
You care a lot.
That's
and if
a
you're
valid
dead,
argument.
you don't care at all.
You know what happened last night? The San Antonio Spurs won a game. So, had you lost to Atlanta.
You know, it's funny. I may never do anything better in my entire life than making that Mike Leach open. But Dirt alerted me to a video that our super digital producer made, Jake.
We do cut-ups of videos from the show. So if you go subscribe to our YouTube channel, there's little snippets and segments that pop up throughout the course of the day, and Jake does a wonderful job doing them.
And he basically posted it, and there's, of course, comments that call me an idiot. It's just like... Denny Avdia will make you rue the day you suggested he's not a number one.
How dare you? How dare you?
Somebody said he's
him.
putting up Clyde and Dame historic stats.
He's on a
and I'm
historic run right now.
30 and 10's cool, but we quit acting like it's like historic.
They are very big into Denny Avdia in Israel. I know that's shocking news, but we get a lot of clicks and views from Israel whenever a Denny Avdia video gets popped up on our old YouTube feed. And so the people over there not happy with your Denny Avdia takes being a number 3 option in the NBA.
Because that's the thing over there they should be unhappy about.
I mean, priorities, priorities here. Does this make sense to you? Nothing like the NFL where we talk about this and it's an actual headline. This is the number 1 story on ESPN right now. This is the number 1 story on that website.
That
currently.
doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make it right.
This isn't even in my top 10 of stories I care about.
You don't want to talk about how Steph would have only scored 17 back in the day because we would have beat him up. That's what players of the past eras told me.
I did see Adam Lefkoe quote tweeted First Take because I guess First Take yesterday was debating about how one player told Stephen A. that Steph wouldn't average 17
Wouldn't average 17 points per game in the 1980s.
Because they would have, quote, beat him up. And Lefkoe was like, why is that always the default? He wouldn't have done it. We would have punched him in the face. And it's like,
I mean, it's just really stupid. It's really
so
stupid.
you wouldn't have actually played the game. You would have just cheated and
yeah. I just
played boxing,
clotheslined him. And just could you stay in front of him?
It's
could
just
you?
such a stupid.
It's so stupid. The New England Patriots have traded Joe Milton to the Dallas Cowboys for a 5th and a 7th round pick. So an organization
I think they traded for a 5th and they got Milton in a 7th back.
Okay, they got a 7th round pick back. Okay. They also traded a draft pick 2 years ago, I believe a 3rd round pick for Trey Lance. Was it a 3rd round pick? Was it a 4th round pick?
Maybe I'm mistaken.
Let me look that one up.
I just
make sure
remember
I'm factually correct there.
When the Niners did trade him and got that, I went, thanks.
I remember just thinking like, Wait, why did anybody give anything for Trey Lance?
Yeah.
Why did what? Yeah, you're correct. 4th round pick in the 2024 draft. So last year they lost their 4th round pick for Trey Lance. This year they will lose a 5th round pick for Joe Milton, which the Joe Milton thing is really funny to me.
4th and a 5th for your 2nd and 3rd backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, Cooper Rush, who has actually been a relatively good backup quarterback.
He's had moments where people have wondered aloud.
By backup quarterback standards, he's not bad. I think he's signed in Baltimore this year to be the backup. He signed like a 1-year, $4 million contract. So I guess my question would be, would you rather give $4 million to Cooper Rush with a $1 million cap hit?
Oh, Milton can't be that expensive.
I'm not saying expensive, but
Just
you're
the
losing a
draft pick.
5th round pick for Joe Milton. The Joe Milton thing is just funny to me. Like, he is viewed as this. I mean, he got big arm. Got a big arm.
Yeah, but that's all he's viewed as. I don't think people are like, he could be the franchise guy.
He has 241 career passing yards. I mean,
he had a preseason moment, though.
He did have a preseason moment. He did. He had that moment. He could throw the football a long ways, guys. Joe Milton could throw the football a long ways.
When did they draft him? What round did they pick him in?
6th round pick.
So they got a
better draft pick for Joe Milton
the round
than what
they drafted
used to give him
in, and they were never going to start him.
Yes, because they have Drake May. They took Drake May. They have a franchise quarterback. At least they think that they do.
I love the way the Cowboys are run. It makes it so fun.
That was the part that made me chuckle, and I'm seeing people in Dallas were like, this isn't that bad of a deal. The guy's got a lot of potential. I'm like, what? Potential? Have we watched Joe Milton play football?
And tariffs are good for the economy.
Okay. All right. Joe Milton's in Dallas. There you go. This, I think, I don't know how you guys enjoy Sundays in the fall. This has become almost like I got to make sure I'm around my TV when it's on kind of viewing.
It's kind of pathetic by you.
It's a little. Look, it's a little. I'm not proud of it.
How many hours you've
I'm
already
not
been
proud of it.
watching.
We're just in the trust tree here.
Okay.
When it's on my TV, I get excited.
I rarely see it.
Even my wife gets excited. We always know it's like a little after 5 o'clock.
It's depressing.
Here
it's
it
the end of your
comes.
Sunday.
And then you turn it on. It's a delightful end of your Sunday. You know why? Because I've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
I've been waiting all week.
I've been waiting all week for Sunday night.
Yeah, we didn't watch 7 hours of commercial-free gluttonous football.
So I didn't realize I didn't realize that American Idol is still on TV. But when you get like Survivors and American Idols, that's cash cow. You keep rolling it out.
It's on a different channel though.
Oh, it is.
It's not on Fox. I looked it up. It's on ABC now.
ABC took it over.
They
when
took it
came
over.
Back.
Is it different? Or is it the same show, just a different
same
logo?
show, different hosts.
They changed the judges, right? Or
yeah.
Simon Cowell still doing it?
No.
Paul Abdul?
No.
Randy Jackson.
Randy Jackson.
Because if you have a sword, you got to get it signed by Randy.
How do you
Jackson.
not get Randy Jackson?
No, when they brought it back, it was Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and I don't know which country guy it is.
Okay. Sure.
All right.
It's country guy.
And
then Katy Perry left.
Still hosting
Yes, Seacrest is. It's still. I think he owns the show, or he's the executive producer of it.
That guy's a vampire.
Radio Hall of Famer.
He's a rich dude.
Billionaire, dude.
So the trial, I guess we're on auditioning stage, I'm assuming, for American Idol.
The blind
audition.
Swag watches these shows.
Yeah, he's into the singing shows.
He'll make fun of everybody else watching shows.
Yes.
And then he'll watch these
He'll
shows.
laugh at you for watching something like, you watch
sci-fi
Tombstone?
show?
Tombstone's a good movie? Let me turn on American Idol.
I didn't say that's just. I'm not a Western
Yellowstone?
guy.
How ridiculous.
How dare you? How dare you?
Now let's listen to Chad.
Katy
from
Perry, tell me
Chattanooga.
about this singer. So this happened. I am now filing a petition since we have had to ban Remix to Ignition, Hot and Fresh Out the Kitchen, Mama Rolling That Body.
Has
this
it fully been banned?
I mean, I think it has. I've tried to unban it because it's such a good song, but I don't.
Brooke Golsendam
She unbanned it with me.
unbanned
We
it.
unbanned it together.
Yeah. Little toot toot. Beep beep.
Little beep beep.
Mama rolling that body.
This has to become the new karaoke song because it's a wonderful song, and this happened at American Idol auditions.
I've been waiting all day for a Sunday night. The tough get rough in a primetime fight.
All right.
It's more than a game. It's everything's right. That's why we're waiting all day for a Sunday night. All right, what a night. It's finally here. Sunday night.
Dude, it's a good
football
song.
kicking into high gear.
You know every word.
The stars have arrived. Come on, get up and cheer. The NFL's best has got to play.
Yeah, bounce it.
Coast to coast, there's just one thing left to say. Waiting all day for a
I have been.
Sunday
Thank you.
night. The tough get rough in a primetime fight. It's more than a game. It's everything's right. why we're waiting all day for Sunday night.
Bum, bum, ba-da-da, da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da. I mean, it just gets you going, doesn't it?
Not really.
It's a wonderful song.
It would have been better if she put the teams in it.
Yeah, you got to pick two teams
just
in
pick
there.
Two teams, go in.
The Raiders and the Cowboys, or just whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
Ready to go, yeah.
I thought pretty smart move on her part. Now, she does have a good voice, but also Carrie Underwood being a judge on the show. Carrie Underwood's like, she starts.
That's always a double-edged sword, though. If you go perform something from one of the judges.
But she did it differently. It was a different rendition.
It was a different, kind of a different pacing.
In the blind audition, they only have the piano player. That's it.
You get a little piano
There's
music
there's no band. There's no production.
Also, I wonder too, that's a little bit. I wonder if she feels the same way of singing one of her actual songs or a theme song. I wonder if that's a little bit different for Carrie Underwood. She makes a lot of money. I think she makes like $1 million a week to do this thing throughout the course of the NFL season. But
never forget when Schulte tried out and it came to Portland, and he said he didn't get to the chorus, and he gave us this.
No, dude, get right to the meat.
Yeah, he tried he sung a long song, if I remember.
A long song, and he did the slow build and they cut him off.
After 40 seconds, they were like, all right, thank you.
No,
like, what? No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't.
He's holding it too long. Just run. Throw it, man.
Exactly.
No, dude,
get
right to the meat.
Got to go right into the meat of the song. I mean, karaoke song. If
wiener.
you're at a bar and somebody starts singing that you've had a couple of pops, it's a nice Friday night. Somebody starts singing. You're at a karaoke happens at the bar.
You think this is a good song?
And they start singing this.
Overall,
you popped a gummy. Sprague's out in the wild. Swigart's had like 17 gin and tonics, and this comes on at a karaoke bar. You're singing along. Admit it. You're singing along.
What's the better anthem for the sport? Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football?
Yeah,
I think this is.
Can you go Hank Williams Jr.?
I think this is better. I think it's a better song.
I don't know.
All My Rowdy Friends.
Is that here for Monday night?
Is that still banned? Is that still canceled?
Well, I think he's been canceled, but I don't think the song's been canceled.
They don't even sing it anymore. It's Phil Collins now. I've been something in the air tonight.
Yeah,
it's
Chris
the song
Stapleton
now. And Snoop Dogg is your Monday night intro.
Chris Stapleton and Snoop Dogg are doing that. And
could he just wear like "I'm problematic" as a shirt and bring him back?
Say
so he could
I'm
sing
sorry.
No, you won't say
with
I'm
the
sorry.
piano.
I don't know.
Hey, I think it's a karaoke song. I think the people
I'll
are
put a
digging
poll
it.
question up. Which song is
better
better?
song?
Monday Night Football anthem, Sunday Night Football anthem.
I legitimately wait for this to come on Sunday nights. We turn the TV volume up way loud and we sing it together as a family. I'm not kidding.
Interesting family.
You can ask my wife. We do it every day. It's like cooking dinner's usually on. You're cooking. The game hasn't quite started yet. It's like, oh, it's 5 o'clock. Oh, get the game on NBC. Go.
Is
go,
there
go.
there's not a college football song, right?
No, not to this level.
They repurpose like artist songs.
And
like,
CBS and Fox have theme music, but they don't have words, I don't believe.
No, the only thing that would be similar would be for College Game Day with Big and Rich. We're coming to your city.
Coming to your city. Yeah. But I don't think, that's not on that level.
outside of that part, what else do they say?
Yeah, I know.
I do not watch American Idol, so I do not know this, but many people are saying that Luke Bryan was the host.
Okay, sure.
Or the judge or
like
whatever.
I said, I do not dabble in the country genre, so
All right.
So there you go. I'm digging it. I'm digging this American Idol audition. This gal.
Poll questions up. Which football anthem is better? Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football?
Waiting all day for Sunday night. We got a lot still to get to. We gotta go to break. It's 8:16, man. You gotta shut up.
I
over
wait
there.
all day for the Monday anthem. Sunday,
when
already
I'm
had
talking, you're not talking.
When I'm talking, you're not talking. Okay, you shut your pie hole over there. Swag's got his stupid Dodger crap going on.
Mm-hmm.
You think Sunday Night Football song sucks?
Like, yeah.
Back after this.
It's time for a sports injury report. The injuries and rehab that impact the success of sports teams. Brought to you by Rock Orthopedic.
What are you going to do? What structured plan do you have so that we come back next season, we won't be having this same discussion about Joel Embiid health? Are you going to get a nutritionist in place? What type of surgery is he going to have and where is it going to be?
That is Kendrick Perkins talking about Joel Embiid, who is going to have surgery.
Talking about nutrition, huh?
And maybe add Cooper Flagg to the roster.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they win the lottery, that would just, it feels surreal to see Cooper Flagg playing with Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey.
They favorites in the East next year?
I don't know if they're favorites, but if Embiid does get back healthy from this knee operation,
still have a Paul George problem.
Well, they do, but they'll certainly be in conversations for how good can they be with Cooper Flagg.
Sports Injury Report presented by Rock Orthopedic, board-certified specialists who diagnose and treat the widest range of orthopedic cases with care and expertise. To schedule an appointment with Dr. John Cohen, visit rocpdx.com. People and Shane chiming in. My wife loves the Sunday night anthem too, Dirt, maybe even more than the actual game, so we crank up the volume as well. Dude, we've been waiting all day. It's Sunday night, man. What's there to not be? It's Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth. Gets you going. Harley says, I get fired up if I'm at a bar karaoke. Somebody starts singing that song. You would sing along. You know that you would. Sprague's on, I got me. It's 11 o'clock. That comes on. You'd be like, wait, is that?
I would.
Is somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. They're singing the Sunday Night Football anthem.
My wife would be like, how do you know this song? I'm like, what do you mean? How do I know this song?
I got a problem. That's how I know this. That's how I know this song.
Me and my wife do not listen to this together and
I
sing
think you
it
should
together.
show this to Mrs. Sprague and see how she feels. Turn it on 5 o'clock for Sunday Night Football of the year.
If Lauren Hill sang it, she'd care a lot.
She'd be into it. I did want to get to a couple of little tidbits here. So much has been made of complaining about the transfer portal. And I understand all of it. I did want to just take a moment, just a brief moment, to acknowledge and appreciate this legend. Do you guys know who Meechie Johnson Jr. is? You ever heard that name?
No.
Okay.
Big Meech?
The Big Meech. The Big Meecher. That's what they call him. Meecher Jr. I don't know what they call him. I've never seen him play basketball. But his route through college basketball deserves its spotlight.
Okay.
He began his career at Ohio State. Played at Ohio State for 2 years. Okay, all right, look at that. He stuck around more than 1 year. How about that? He then transferred after 2 years, and he said, you know what, Ohio State, you're not getting the job done for me. I'm moving on. I'm not playing here anymore. I'm transferring to South Carolina. I'm going down to play in the old SEC. I want to be a Gamecock, damn it.
Is that when Frank Martin was still there?
I don't know.
Screaming
Probably
and yelling?
not. He was at South Carolina for 2 years. Hey, his eligibility's up, right? Well, not really. Everybody gets a million years of eligibility now, so he's still got some eligibility to take.
If he played during COVID, that was a no counties.
Yep.
He's at South Carolina for 2 years.
Okay.
Says, you know what, dude, South Carolina, this not for me anymore, okay? 2 years is enough. I'm a 2 year man. I don't need to be here anymore. He decides to transfer from South Carolina. You want to take a wild guess where he transferred to?
North Carolina.
No, Ohio State. He went back to Ohio State. He played at Ohio State this year. He was at Ohio State for 1 year, back at Ohio State. So technically 3 years at Ohio State with a 2 year stopgap at South Carolina in between. He has re-entered the transfer portal, and he has announced his commitment. You want to take a wild guess where he's transferring to?
Going back to South Carolina?
He's going back to South Carolina. He was at Ohio State for 2 years, transferred to South Carolina for 2 years, went back to Ohio State for a year, and is now going back to South Carolina for his final year, I would hope or assume, of college eligibility.
Awesome.
I just wanted to give that guy just a... This is great. I love that. This is perfect. Not one, just hey, keep bouncing around.
Can
keep
somebody
finding your spot.
ask why he did that?
I would love to do... Like, this is a guy I'd love to interview and be like, that's got to be a little weird, right?
Like, what was it about Ohio State
that made you leave?
That made you leave, but then say,
Come
I'm going to
back.
go back, and then why did you leave
No, you're
for
leaving.
South Carolina?
No, you're leaving again.
Leave and then come back.
He left the same university twice and went back to the same university twice. Just, I saw that and I thought that was a good chuckle. Earlier this week, I had a listener tag us in a tweet about this, and I did have it in my notes, but we didn't get to it yesterday. We got fired up talking about Denny Amdia and pissing off a country over in the Middle East. There was an effort to secure funding that we talked about for the Major League Baseball effort in Portland.
Yeah, the expansion of the tax.
The tax, SB 110 or whatever they were calling it.
I think they were just recalculating the math.
That's all
for
it was.
Inflation.
It's 800. It used to be what 150 million.
150, I think.
Now
when
it's
they did
800
it 20
million
years ago.
So they were just essentially saying, hey, these Aaron Judge players.
Let's extend this bill.
Yes. And it took a massive step forward on Monday. It seems like there's going to be no blockage in terms of passing this.
It got out of the Senate, and it's in the House now.
Now it's in the House. It doesn't seem like anything's going to derail it. And this is I think you look for these little benchmarks along the way. Still a long shot, I'm sure, for a lot of people. And some people roll their eyes every time this story comes up. But every time you cross one of these little hurdles, to me, it's something to celebrate and say, man, that's all right. At least they didn't get in the way of that. That was pretty obvious. It's a tax on major league player salaries.
The more things that are in place and ready to go when Rob Manfred has that press conference, the better your chances are.
Yes. So it took a big step getting through the Senate on Monday, big step forward, and now it's in the House. And it does not seem from everything I've read that there will be any opposition to it. And so the first step in terms of funding a Major League Baseball stadium being built down at Zidell Yards is almost clear of the first hurdle.
Well, I don't think this is the part that most people, if they've been paying attention, think, okay, that's got its order. They have figured this out. They're all on the same page. I think the new mayor, I think people around the city understand this is a big win for the city, potentially. The problem I'm having is how many people we work with and that I know still are just like,
Nah.
This ain't happening.
Oh, it's out there for sure. I get it.
And the only thing I think that changed, this is no different, I think, to our conversation about teams can't win it because they haven't won it.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing for us with
until
this.
they break ground on a stadium. You're not going to believe they're going to break ground on a stadium.
Until baseball announces that Portland is going to be the city and then they dig those shovels. I think people are just going to see this as kind of political posturing of, they did the thing that doesn't change anything.
No.
This changes the financials down the road.
If you get a team and build a stadium.
If you get it. But if you don't get it, then it's just like, hey, we passed this updated version of the Senate bill.
Totally fair. Totally fair. I understand there's a lot of skepticism out there. I think to Swag's point, making sure that everything is dialed in and showing Major League Baseball, look, we're ready. Like, we got the land, this bill's been passed, here's the money.
And then plus,
just everything's ready to go for your presentation of why you deserve an expansion team whenever Major League Baseball gets to that
point. And
the
fewer political hoops you have to jump through when it elevates to, we're actually doing
this
go
break
now.
the ground, go dig, go
like
put
all
a
this
shovel
stuff
in the
has
ground.
been done behind the scenes where other people are like, what, is this really a thing? Is it going to happen? They're not paying attention. Then there's fewer areas for the vocal minority to insert themselves into the process.
Go back to Orem's article. It would be the next stuff. So now that the financial part of this, because allegedly, they are saying they have the money, right? This helps with that stuff. The next thing, because it's not just as cut and dry as this has been passed, and now when it's official, it's all good. There's OHSU stuff they have to talk about.
Yeah.
Because that's near the tram, and it's right there, and how does all of that infrastructure work? You can say, hey, you've got the Tillicum Bridge. People walk across it. Yeah, people are also lazy.
Yeah, that's true.
People want access to their cars.
That's why you're going to jump on Dirt's Diamond Club pontoon boat company service. Dirt's Pontoon Diamonds. Diamonds in the river. Pontoon River. What was the name of my company? I'm dying on the vine here, man. Help me out.
Wow. That was...
it's like you're bungling a Rihanna song all of a sudden.
It's terrible. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I think you should run a pontoon business anymore.
Look, the name is not what matters. It's the experience you have while on the pontoon is what matters.
It's Dirt's Diamond Pontoon Club.
Dirt's Diamond Pontoon Club. Thank you. I hit that. I think there was a DDPC in there somewhere. There was a DDPC in there somewhere.
That was like...
There was a DDPC.
Boy, I was like watching stand-up comedy and nobody's laughing.
Just flubbing a joke.
Dirt's floating boat.
Dude,
floating.
I could choke down 6 of those easily. That's what you get on your DDPC ride, 6 hot dogs as we cross the Willamette. If you eat 6 hot dogs from one shore to one bank of the Willamette to the other, free ride. Free ride on the DDPC.
I think everybody would do that. You'd have no money. So now your DDPC is bankrupt.
Who's cooking the glizzy?
It's a pontoon. It's going slow. I can run a charcoal grill and drive
charcoal grill.
I got a little charcoal grill next to me.
Forrest Gump tank top.
Yay! Hey guys, you ready to go back?
Lieutenant Dan.
The DDPC. I see your larger point, though.
I do think having a stand-up comedian randomly appear on a pontoon boat
that'd be great.
The river.
You get stand-up comedy on maybe a guy playing a guitar, get like a live musician on there.
That's not hard to find in Portland.
No, there's a guy. Get the bucket drummer. The bucket drummer will be on the DDPC.
Can the unipiper, you think?
I think you could ride a unicycle.
Different themed
going around
performances
around the
every
length
night.
of the pontoon,
like
going around little
just
circles.
Going around there.
One boat is the reggae boat.
It's
probably gonna have a white guy.
So we have multiple theme boats now. I have
Are
you telling me the DDPC is now a fleet? Is that what you're telling me? I got a fleet of DDPCs?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. All right.
I definitely think that's what it should be. You should have themed pontoon boats.
Business is a booming, after all.
There we go.
Things are going wonderful.
If people can have a Disney cruise, why can't you have different themed pontoon boats?
There's a Sunday Night Football theme, just playing the song the entire way.
Do parents make love on the Disney cruise? Or is that an awkward place to be making love?
Sort of princess outside your room. It's like Mickey's looking in your window. If he's just looking at...
If you...
That's all?
I don't know. Depends on how big your stateroom is, I would imagine.
Is that button you press for music to like block out the noise you might be making? You walk by.
Let it go.
Do you want to build a snowman?
You know Donald gets down with the freaky stuff.
He definitely does.
He won't commit to Daisy.
That beak's going in weird places,
Boy,
man.
he gets angry quick.
Well, somebody said, did Dirt just become an admiral? I think I did. I think I got a fleet of ships in the river. I think I'm an admiral. I got family in the Navy. I got a cousin who teaches at the Naval Academy. I'll
What,
call him up.
Gronk in an
I'm gonna get a naval hat.
I want to see you in the Captain Stubing outfit with the shorts and the high white socks.
Yes, now we're talking.
I think there's a worse commercial than Gronk in that insurance for military commercial.
One of the worst ever created.
You got to be in the military. My brother's in the military.
But I planted these flowers that are in the shape of it. Does that count? No, it does not, Gronk. The DDPC is on its way. Big funding bill passed.
Oh, boy.
All full steam ahead. Let's get
ship's just sinking.
Put
the sword in the air and go down with the ship.
Look, here's what I will promise you on the DDPC. If we go down, I will make room on my door for you. I will not be the Jack to your Rose or the Rose to your Jack. I'll make room. I'll move over. We'll be all right. We'll survive. Let's get to, does this do anything for you, and is there a local connection? I want to ask that coming up next. But first, it's us with a update.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan with the game tied at 6, 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. The 15th-ranked Oregon Ducks proceeded to hit a Portland Pilot batter, walk another batter, hit another batter, bases loaded, and they plunk in the winning run for a 7-6 final. Third straight year the Pilots have registered a win over the Ducks in their first win over a ranked team this season.
It's all right, we're going to steal your center. Who's that center from Australia? Guess where he's at. Guess where he's at right now.
We're talking about scores that are actually happening.
We're a basketball school.
Hey, there's a marsupial in Australia called an antics. It's a tiny little mouse-looking creature. Yes or no, you would want to come back as this. Did you know the males mate for 14 straight hours and then they die?
I mean, if you're going to go out, it's a hell of a way to go out.
14
hours? At least it's not, the normal average length for me. 14 hours would be a long run. Pretty solid. Am I just laying there and enjoying it?
I mean, 14 hours, you got to be enjoying something.
I got to take a water break at some point. I'm cramping up.
Well, I don't think that's an option.
And you know where I'm going with this. Last night, for those who were there, you're probably just waking up because the game didn't end until nearly midnight. The Portland Winterhawks had a lead in the third period, allowed 2 goals late. Prince George took the lead. They tied the game with about 20 seconds to go, sent it to overtime. The game ended up going to double overtime. It was the longest game in Winterhawks history. Went to almost all the way to the end of the second overtime, in which Diego Battazzoni, who has been lights out in the playoffs, scored the overtime winner in the second OT. They won 5-4. They now hold a 3-1 series lead. Game 5, by the way, thank God they have today off because they need it, is on Friday night. They got a chance to clinch on home ice tomorrow night.
Hawks.
There you go. More college baseball, junior hockey, and animal facts in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The inside story on the Blazers.
Love the text coming in at the fan text line, 503-864-6326. Says, I'll get on a DDPC for sure, bro. I'll bring the weed. Hell yeah, dude. Let's go, man. Somebody else just said, yes, we bang on those cruises. I don't know if that's a DDPC. We don't allow banging on the DDPC. That's not allowed, but maybe he was mentioning the Disney cruises.
There's no privacy on there.
No.
If anything,
we could have like a blanket in the corner, maybe. Kind of go under a little tarp.
Just going up and
put
down.
a tarp over there. What's happening over there?
I don't eat the wiener.
What's that guy doing under that blanket?
Now people are asking what would be the best Disney song to get down to. Scar singing. Be prepared. Be your best. Be your best. The DDPC is going to be on Kickstarter soon. Yeah, it's heading to Kickstarter. This is right. It's right around the corner. They're going to get the momentum going. And the one Dirt's Diamond Pontoon
Sprague's done for the rest of the show, by the way.
I mean, you got to give me a Disney song. You know Disney songs. You got to give me one. Just, for me, it'd be Beauty and the Beast. Dirty's Diamond Pontoon Club, the best, wettest, dirtiest ride of your life. And hey, that's Admiral Dirt's Diamond Pontoon Club. We're coming around, man. Here we go.
If anybody,
give me 3 inches, I'll take 3 inches.
We might need to do Spraguing the line tomorrow just
for this, yeah.
Just for everything that's going on this
Final
week.
Four going on. Yeah, we'll get some Spraguing the line picks
You
in.
choked down 6 glizzies yesterday.
I did, yeah. I did. I did that. We got to make our Masters bets, too, because that technically will start next Thursday, so we won't, by Friday it comes around. You can't make your bets on Friday. You got to get them in pre-tournament.
I've known him a very long time, and I'm confidently telling you that
Be a man from Mulan.
If any...
Bare necessities.
Bare necessities.
If anybody at the fan is having their pontoon boat company ruined and wrecked and going publicly humiliation because there's sex on it, it's definitely
I'm like the Rick Pitino of pontoon boats. Guy's running a brothel service in the back, man. This isn't good. The Nemo song. Oh, God. All right. Let's get to this happened yesterday. Don't have a lot of time here. We'll get you set for your night in sports. Swag actually texted about this. I do find it interesting because we see...
It's a circle of life.
It is the circle of life. We've seen teams go the other direction.
Just finishing. No!
Slovenia! Sacramento State is going to the FBS, baby.
Yeah, they officially applied for
Here
that.
comes Sacramento State. We've seen teams go the other direction, going from FBS back to they're like saying, "Get me out of here! We're not dealing with all this revenue sharing."
Well, they're
going the other way.
Division I for their other sports, just not football.
Not for football. They plan to do so as an independent. Sacramento State does. That's the initial plan.
That's just an invitation to come talk to us.
The school has they fired a waiver to transfer as an independent. For the most part, when this happens, you get like an invite from a conference, and then you apply,
then
and
you
you
have
have
to wait 2 years before
invitation.
you can get into the college
and
football
they're saying
playoff
we
or whatever.
don't have an invite yet, but we're planning to do so as an independent. Do anything for you? Care at all?
I mean, you should care a little bit because
they got a lot of money down there. Evidently, they're willing to pay it.
Yeah, they're supposed to be really backed and has their S together. We talked about this a while when they basically were like, hey, we want to be in your conference. I don't know where the Pac-12 is going to go. We had the Memphis guy on this week. He made it sound like they're not entertaining it unless money changes, which is actually opposite of what the fan base wants.
Well, maybe we're still waiting on that rights deal, which again, it's like the old Pac-12. This will happen in a month. This will happen in a month. It's right around the corner. Like,
well,
I feel like I've heard that 15
Mike Bibby
times.
as their basketball coach.
Sacramento State did, I know.
SDSU's AD said we would know mid-March. It's April.
It's April. We played the clip on the show.
No different than Kliavkoff saying the same stuff, and then they get to media day like, we don't have a media deal.
But that's what I was going to say to the Memphis thing of like, if you get that media deal and it ends up being better, is that enough then to entice Memphis, Tulane, whoever else to come to your conference? And I don't know if it is or not.
I mean, I'd rather have them, Memphis, Tulane's, but
than Sacramento State.
It
At
helps
some
with travel.
point, you
Sacramento
need one
State
more
helps with
football
travel.
playing.
They have to get another
school.
one.
You need football, and
one more right now too. One more.
One more football playing school.
It is not exciting in any way for me as a fan, but I would understand. You're close to the Bay, and it just helps with your travel costs.
I mean, it's a West Coast team.
It's a 9-hour drive. It's a quick flight. Like, it just helps a lot of stuff.
A little bit easier to get there than it is to Memphis.
Yeah,
and New Orleans. Or wherever, San Antonio, if you want to go UTSA or whoever else you're entertaining.
Well, at some point, time will run out. They have to find somebody if they're going to
be a conference the next year.
Yeah.
There's a date on the calendar where you got to get this figured out.
Well, how does Boise feel about that?
I don't know.
I don't know if
They're the big
everybody
brand
has
you're
to.
bringing
Does
in.
the financial backing of the program make it a little bit like not that they're obviously not a household brand? We don't
No,
need to
but
remember
they've been putting money into
past.
facilities. They have the
They've injected a lot of money into this.
They have
thing.
the second best track and field facility in the country behind Hayward.
You mentioned they just hired Mike Bibby.
They just hired Mike Bibby to be their head basketball coach.
Yeah, I
bulky Mike Bibby, which is still weird to see him that way.
I tend to be a little cautious on the whole. They have the backing. I've heard that before, and then you see school like I see it in the NBA, you see it in the NFL, you see it in college from time to time. They've got the money, and then it's like we're not winning. Money's drying up.
Yeah, we don't have the money anymore.
And so I worry about that a little bit.
At some point, the investment, if you're not getting a return on your investment, it'll dry up.
I think ultimately where I land is "You're Welcome" by Maui from Moana.
That's the one you go with?
That's every dude just under-delivering and still getting I'm like, "You're welcome."
Bet you enjoyed that, huh?
She didn't even say thank you.
I know
You're
I
already
did.
saying you're welcome.
I had a great time.
Just keep swimming.
The DDPC.
I mean, that is the goal of everybody.
Let's close it up, get you set for your night in sports, and we'll do it next on The Fan.
It's time for Legends of Hoop, an inside look at the college basketball championships. Brought to you by Legends Casino Hotel, within winning distance.
Part of his genius is the fact that he can win a game with scoring, rebounding, steals, blocks, you name it, whatever you need, whatever that game requires, he finds a way to come up with those plays to help us win.
That is John Shire, the head coach at Duke, talking about Cooper Flagg and what he does to make his team win.
Yeah, he's a do-everything player. We all know that. He's been great. He'll have a real opportunity to be kind of historic in terms of NCAA tournament basketball this weekend if they can beat Houston. Good read on him. There's a follow-up. When Shire found out that he was committing, that Flagg was going to go to Duke, he cried.
I would too. If we got the number one pick in the draft, I'll cry.
It's going to give him the natty.
If we win the lottery, I will cry. I will bawl my eyes out like a baby.
Me too.
And then go buy the DDPC. Legends of Hoop brought to you by Legends Casino Hotel. Escape to Legends Casino Hotel within winning distance, just a short drive to Toppenish, Washington. The ultimate destination for fun and relaxation, legendscasino.com. All right, welcome back in, 8:50. Fun little show today, folks. Fun little show.
It's been a fun week.
How will we top it on a Friday? I don't know, but we'll try.
Fast break Friday.
It's Flop Shop Friday.
What are we
Fast
flopping
break.
on the table?
It's a fastball Friday. Hey, the Mariners won a game yesterday. You know.
They did. They beat the reigning Cy Young winner.
They got a win. Look at you. They scored 3 runs in the game, too. Nice. Good job.
Why do you do this?
It's fun. I enjoy it.
There's no rivalry.
No, there's not at all.
They're not in
Although
your division,
there is a
they're not in your
rivalry. You know what? No,
league.
there is a rivalry because
the rivalry?
the rivalry is this weekend.
Uh-huh.
The Giants have their own home opener tomorrow.
Okay.
The 5-1 San Francisco Giants that nobody's talking about. Nobody's
The
giving us a
third
chance.
place San Francisco.
I will
Giants?
catch you.
Yeah, they're 5-1 in third place. Ridiculous. A bunch of cheating bastards. I don't know if you will. I don't know if you guys will have 5 wins by June.
What was
see.
your point?
My point was they play the Mariners in their home opener, and I'm
going to laugh when they get swept.
I can't watch the game.
Oh, yeah, the blackout.
I can't watch games this weekend. People are like, oh, just go to like Mets streams and like pull it up on your. I'm not doing that, dude. I don't. And that's no.
Yeah.
I don't have Root because I have YouTube TV and I watch my games through MLB TV. And Mariner games are blacked out. We are not Seattle.
Do you have you have the extra innings package?
Yeah,
I have
extra
MLB
innings?
TV.
Yeah,
I don't have extra
same.
innings because I don't have Comcast anymore. I have YouTube TV and I buy MLB TV through
What's the
app.
price difference? I have MLB TV.
Well, yeah,
it's
MLB.
$150.
So you have the online package. You can watch any game you want.
Any game I want.
I got a hack for you.
Oh.
Talk to you after the show.
Oh,
You
have a hack?
Yep.
Of all people,
You've
you
cooked up a hack for me, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Are you a stream Easter? Look at you. I'm proud of you, actually.
I am. I don't
I'll
really
show
know
you
how
how-
to.
I'll
I'm a
show
little
you how to do
surprised
it.
right now.
You
That's-
breaking the rules? Oh my God, I'm so confused.
Dirty boy. You're welcome on the DDPC anytime you want, man. Free rides for life.
Where's the bar cart? Is there a bar cart?
There's a
on
bar.
there?
There's a bar cart. There's a grill. There's a bar cart. We got you taken care
I'll
of.
be your bartender out there.
You can be a bartender. We got you.
Swag's gonna be weekend at Bernie's on that boat.
Sprague will be your weed guy.
There you
Here, what do
go.
you need? I got your gummies. Got your
Swag
gummies.
hattens all around.
Swag
Let's
hattens
go.
and gummies on your ride across the Willamette before you go watch some baseball.
I'll be
Damn it.
Adam Sandler from
That's right.
Hot Chick.
So that is
Put your weed in here.
put your weed in there, man. Blazers are in Toronto tonight. Are we going to watch?
4:30.
4:30 start time.
Who's gonna outtank us this time? The Toronto Raptors.
I mean, yeah, they will, because Denny Avdia is still in the lineup. He's probably going to go for 45, 15, and 15 and lead us to a win.
I'll probably watch.
You gonna
I don't know
watch?
if I'll watch all of it because I think I have basketball for 2 kids today.
Double basketball today.
Yeah, you know, the thing I didn't think about was spring basketball because I'm glad my kid's playing again. They're getting involved.
She's into it.
Yeah, she's into it.
As long as she's having fun, that's all that matters.
It only goes until the very last weekend of May.
Yeah.
What I did not account for was tournaments, practice, and how that is going to interrupt playoff NBA basketball.
Yeah, those tournaments take all weekend.
Well, but
Yeah.
there's a thing where we vote as a collective. Do we want to play Saturday, Sunday, or play a few games on one day? And I will be voting that direction. Because I also do the gambling show Sunday.
Yes.
So, you know,
working day for you.
the scheduling is going to be interesting by the mid to late part of this month.
Yeah, I remember that the one year I helped coach baseball and like trying to watch games in the dugout, like Nuggets and Lakers Western Conference Finals games. Like, why am I
don't want to miss that.
I don't want to miss this. This is when the
DVR.
NBA gets good. This
Yeah.
is when it's heating up, man. So the Blazers are in Toronto tonight. I believe all of our baseball teams are off today.
We need to be off.
Yeah,
we
the
gotta
guys need to
go
breathe.
home.
Warriors
We need to
are.
go home.
They got to go on the road now.
We're going home.
Will the Braves get a win tomorrow?
Who do you got? Who's the home opener?
Great question, Bob.
You got the Marlins at home.
Marlins are 4-3.
They're above 500.
They have a win.
You need
They
a
got-
multi-run
they got
lead
one.
though. They're the walk-off kings right now.
We just need to win a game. All right,
Just
let's
any
win a game
game.
and not blow it with our bullpen again.
Any
Great.
game is all I'm asking for,
Great.
man. That will do it for us, folks. Thanks for being a part of our Thursday. If you missed the show, go check the podcast. We had a buddy on the show talk about the Florida Gators.
Buddy was great.
Buddy was awesome, giving us a Gators preview for the Final Four. At Dirt and Sprague and at 1080 to the Fan. We'll tweet that thing out as soon as we're done. Thanks, everybody, for watching on YouTube. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so yet, we're going to try and go to Duke tomorrow in the final of our Final Four stops. We will talk about the Final Four. Will the Blazers do the right thing and lose the game tonight? Time will tell. We'll talk about that on the show as well. Thanks for being a part of our Thursday. We will talk to you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Calling us next. Listening to 1080 The Fan.